just interrupt me and let me know.
We're happy to refresh and restart.
Yep. I mean, we could all sit here in awkward silence and
just sort of
when sun comes back on.
Now,
wiggle a little bit.
Where's the camera? I love you, Grace. Anyway, you guys wake up. We have time? Cool. You guys wake up fresh in the morning, fully healed, well rested, except for you, Almanya. You're still, it's weird. It's almost like wearing like really coarse clothing or itchy clothing, except the clothing is your body and you're your soul. It's kind of an existential itch, and it's really upsetting and uncomfortable. So you're having trouble. You're having trouble coordinating. Right? You feel really weak and kind of like you've gotten over a really long, really horrific sickness.
Like a really bad bout of flu.
It just kind of wasted you away. But the sickness is over, and now all that is left is recovery. So, what would you like to do? And again, you guys are in Estentor. It takes about half to 3/4 of a day to travel to the Imperial City. So
we should probably do that then, shouldn't we?
But do you wish to walk, or shall I see if you have coin? Perhaps one of the Porters Guild could take us.
Well, I was rather cleaned out by the entry fee. I'd rather stretch my legs.
There you go.
I'm happy to walk a little bit.
Yes. I also have the ulterior motive. I'm not saying this out loud. I'm saying this in American accent. That I want to see, because I had that long conversation with the commandant about, so who are your actual workers and such. So I'd like to keep a very weather eye open just as we walk, just to try and learn more about the Ravens in general. I know I probably already did this the first time, but
you did this coming in from Westentor. You can give me another perception check, but as soon as you guys are actually traveling, are you doing anything here in the morning, or are we hitting the road quickly? And then, do you want Daphne to hire the Porters Guild, or you guys want to walk?
I'm happy to walk.
So Almanya, quick thing. If you walk, this day will not count towards your recovery. Yeah.
Right?
So again, that is right. So your debilitating effects are reduced by 1 per week of rest.
Okay.
So what that'll mean is you need to spend at least half a day basically doing nothing more strenuous than reading a book, feeding yourself, etc.
Playing music? Is playing music considered strenuous?
No, you can, as long as you're not trying to do anything, super magical with it, then yeah.
Sweet. Then yeah, I should probably find someone to.
You don't have an instrument, so.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. I am music, Josh. I am music.
Yeah.
Quick question. I had a horse at the beginning of this adventure when I met this group in Westentor. Do I still have that horse, or did I give it back already?
No, so you requisitioned the horse to get you to Estentor, and then you've been escorting the parties. Sorry, Westentor.
Okay.
Westentor.
Reginaire, Miss Daphne, how pricey, how expensive would be some sort of transport for my feathered friend here?
Well, hold on a minute. Let me pray about it for a second. Josh?
5 silver pieces per person per mile.
How many miles is it?
If I remember correctly, I think it's about 40.
I can't do math, Josh.
People in this world walk 40 miles?
That's 200 silver.
No, typically, well,
for one person.
You don't know the answer to that question.
Is that 2 gold?
That's no
20.
a gold. It's 20 gold
Yeah.
for one
Yeah,
person.
That would be 20 gold.
Gross. I have it, but gross.
I did actually, real quick. So I think yesterday, I said, not yesterday, last week, yesterday in game, that Almanya, Almanya, your price was the same as Liliana's. I went back through the interview questions.
Yeah.
You cost 70 gold less than Liliana did.
Sweet.
So I already added that back to your character sheet. So you're at 342 gold.
Yay. Then I'll pay 20 gold.
I have perhaps a proposition. Would it be possible for the porters to assist our friend here, but go slowly so the rest of us can walk alongside?
Yeah, I mean, they will go at whatever speed.
Prices for miles. So yeah.
All right. Then 20 gold for our friend, and the rest of us will stretch our legs.
I mean, I could carry her probably, but it would take a lot longer.
Well, darling.
You know, that's really sweet of you. I really don't want to put you out by having you carry me. I feel like that'd be extremely rude of me. You know, we just sort of met and all that.
Oh, trust me, it would be no problem, and it would be a way for me to get to know you better.
I'm okay with that.
Point of just FYI for you, Daphne. You know that Laura Weiss is leaving the Empire today.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So are you shilling the gold or carrying her?
Oh, Vera said she'd pay. I just wanted to get my flirt in. That's all.
Gotcha. Okay.
I can pay for Almanya, to be honest.
All right.
No, lot of stuff.
You're good, girl.
Daphne returns with an extremely athletic youth, pulling essentially like a heavy-duty rickshaw.
Yes.
It looks like it's meant to carry stuff, not so much people, but it has been padded and cushioned.
Ooh, living the nice life here.
And like he comes around the corner, holding kind of the handles of this rickshaw. All right, ready to go, and he's basically dancing in place.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Having been taken to the hospital once in a rickshaw, they actually are like that. People who do rickshaw driving.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's so cute.
I have never seen a rickshaw in person, nor met somebody who pulls them. So
Yeah.
You know how runners like keep going through their paces at the crosswalk, waiting to get a.
Well, it's a bike, but yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
come along, Zen.
Yeah, I'll pay him 20 gold and hop in the back.
all right, we're going to the Imperial City. All right, how fast do you want to be there?
Perhaps. Wait, 1 moment, Almanya. I think, can we perhaps only travel at the speed that my legs can walk? Which I know you're very enthusiastic. Young, is this a man? Young man?
I mean, I have to be. If I'm of age to join the legions in a couple of years, I have to pass the athletics.
I see.
Well, then maybe you'll go
Nice,
up and back and do some extra passes while we wait for the small one. Yeah.
May I perhaps also mention small and, in addition, elderly? So
I wasn't going to say that. That's rude.
Mom, look, I'll pay for you. You can sit with me. How do you feel, man, about carrying both of us? You chill?
not an. I would prefer to walk, to be honest. I like to take a leisurely look at things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it would cost you another 20 gold too for 2 people. 5 silver per person per mile.
Mm-hmm. So no, thank you, Almanya. I'll walk. But yeah.
Well, I don't want to indispose this guy who clearly just wants to go, and we got to give him a good workout. So I'll head over there quickly, Ma, and then I'll meet up with you guys later. I could use the rest downtime anyway.
No, that's okay. I can get some full workout going slowly. I just do this the whole way.
Okay. I love your enthusiasm. You are fantastic.
Okay, here's what I want to happen though. We start, and he thinks I'm going to be going really slowly, but my speed is actually faster than most people.
How?
Your,
Yeah.
your speed is actually faster than Daphne's base speed.
Yeah. So I'm just trot.
All right. Well, you can lead the
What's
way.
up?
I will follow behind.
All
Okay,
right.
work out just doing that in my chair.
But what is your name there, young man?
Name's Albert.
Albert.
Of course it
Albert, I love you. 5 stars. Let's do this.
is for your Uber driver.
Yeah.
Can I just say how much I love that you guys just like, I love this NPC. I like him. You guys just every
It's how we adopted George and kept him for 2 campaigns.
yeah, through having his arm ripped off. It was,
Endearing youth. Endearing youth is just my weakness. I'm like, oh, I love you.
all right. His name is Albert. All right. You guys have a good hour, not hour, like half to 3/4, 2/3 of a day, of a journey here. Is there anything in particular you'd like to do on your way? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes, you can roll your perception check.
Yes.
Can I notice her checking things out?
Walking.
Daphne, give me an insight check.
Cool.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. And 11. Vera, how stealthy are you trying to be with your perception?
I'm not, staring to be super obvious, but I'm also not hiding that I'm, looking around like I'm a tourist.
Okay. Daphne, you definitely notice her looking around. Vera, very similar to the first time when you guys were coming in from the west. I think you can see on this side. Hold on. I gotta pull up my correct map here. Where is the Empire? World map. Sorry, give me one moment. Region, the gateway. What? Sorry. Maybe that's in my folder. I have too many maps.
Oh, the problems of having too many maps.
Oh, there it is, Empire. So you look, right, so again, on the mountains are on your right this time as you travel west. And as you travel into the Empire, you kind of look way out and you can see the Great Wall as it kind of extends and curves out of sight. There we go. About halfway through the day, actually starting about 3 hours into the journey, you can see kind of off to the left, you're not in sight of the wall anymore. You can see off to the left, one mountains way off, right? So again, the Empire encompasses enough land to actually have, a mountain range somewhere way off that way. But between you and the mountain range, and for hours of travel, you can see here and there little clusters of smoke just going up to the sky. You can't see any buildings, but there's definitely chimney smoke off in the distance. And again, like you can see that for hours as you travel, right? Different little clusters. You can't really get a sense of numbers. You can tell there are a large number of at least small. Great question, Jenny. Let me get to your map in just a second.
Okay.
But you can't get a great sense of kind of total number of people out there. but there is a large number of people living out in what is to you the wilderness. You don't see any large roads that join this one. You do notice halfway through the journey there is a minor road, but it's trampled grass that is you can definitely see that people travel this way, but it's kind of a natural beaten path rather than a road. But that's the only road that you see that kind of extends off in that direction.
So what, I guess I've been visualizing this wrong, because what, say, is right on the side of the main road that we're walking on? If you just look from left to right, what is there? Because I think I imagined the first time we came from first campaign that this is like tilled area, but no.
No, so to the left is just grassland. So immediately inside the walls for like the first hour or so of the journey, it was small hills. Then it turned into just grassland that extends way off to the left, and that is the case all the way until you reach the Imperial City. To the right, you see forested mountains, and the forest kind of creeps down the mountains almost to the road, shy maybe 100 yards or so, but just heavily forested mountains that rise up to your right. Which actually I would think, to both Almanya and Vera growing up in Anashur, those mountains are, you can decide whether this is true of your character, but for the most part, that is quite ominous and terrifying to have a forest and large mountains right there, nothing between you and it.
I think Almanya would find that pretty cool, but Almanya also, just spent a ton of time in the afterlife, which was all like rocky canyons and plains, and there were some trees every once in a while. So I think she's like, hell yeah, pretty mountains. Here for it.
Probably hard to phase her.
Landscapes don't phase her, but she finds them pretty. She's like, ooh, mountains.
Vera, I will ask you for just a quick fear of the wilderness roll.
I know. I was about to say, I don't like it, and I don't like this much anyway, and I hate this worse. How do I do a fear roll again?
It's just a D100, 60 or lower, and you're afraid.
So right-click on your D10, Grace, and then select the percentage one.
Ooh, that's fancy.
Almanya's like sitting there, like tapping at a beat, like, how can I like write this into something?
90.
Vera, you are not, you are not frightened to the point of debilitation.
I just don't like it.
You just,
I guess my other question, because what I'm really looking for is, because what I know Bream is famous for, and what I know from being from Anashur, is that they have independent food supplies.
Yes.
So I'm a little confused, like Vera is confused about how can you have clearly massive agriculture go off the main road, because there's a lot of transport involved in that.
There does not seem to be any significant transport that connects with this road. If this road, I mean, you surmise that this road must be used because you know that Bream ships grain east as well. So unless there's something you can't see or just don't know about, the food, you surmise that the food must be gathered in the Imperial City first and then shipped out in this direction.
So the fields themselves are in Felbrima?
No. Wherever out there it's harvested, first gets taken to Felbrima, and then when it's ready to actually be shipped to a different city, then it's shipped along this main road that leads directly east.
So there must be a ton of smaller feeder roads going to Felbrima that I just can't see at this point.
Yes. You notice that there are 3 main roads that lead into Felbrima. You've now traveled, at the end of today, you will have traveled 2 of them. One that heads directly west, one heads directly east. there is one that heads directly south.
Right. And I haven't seen a single farm in any of the east or west sides of Felbrima.
But not within sight of the road, no.
All roads lead to Vreem.
Again, the wilderness inside the Great Walls is tremendous.
Okay.
It is
Wilderness.
magnificent, is it not?
Sorry?
It's magnificent, yeah?
Oh, it's so big. How do you have a city that's this big where there are walls around mountains?
Seems rather a contradiction in terms, shall we say, a world wilderness.
But
You don't
to
like
me,
it? Look at how pretty it is. This is so much nicer than where I was before this, okay? This is fantastic.
Yes, I've been wanting to talk to you about that. I don't know if now's the time or the place, Almanya, my dear.
We can
They're
talk,
very
but we're not doing
important.
anything for the next.
what is the afterlife like? Do you remember?
It's very washed out. And there were all of these, I don't know if they were portals or splits between worlds or what they were, but they would call to me and tell me to join them. And I said no. I was very determined not to join random people who wanted me to go with them, because that just seemed like a whole bad idea wrapped up in everything that was going on. Yeah. And yeah, it was just there were canyons and plains and mountains and rivers, but they were all faded, like they had been forgotten.
Yeah,
And I was
because
there
they're dead, right?
Hmm?
Because they're dead, yeah?
Right, but I've never heard of a river being, well, I guess if a river is dead, there's no more water. Or if a mountain is dead, it's because it's been mined to the ground. But yeah, it was big and terrifying, and I met some of my characters from my songs. That was really exciting. And they were the ones who led me on this kind of crazy adventure. And we went and joined this giant legion.
You mean the ancestors?
There. What?
You mean the ancestors?
You mean the Vreeman ancestors? Because I tried to get into Vreem and they said no. They were very determined and kind of rude about it, honestly. Because I tried to get into here.
He was very nice.
I know, he was actually very sweet. I tried to get into here. They said no, so I had to go away.
Well, you're not a citizen, that's why.
Yeah, but it was hard, you know. I wanted to be safe and not have my soul, you know,
Yeah.
torn out of all existence. So I met some of the people that I had created for stories a long time ago, and
What?
I don't really understand it myself. This orcish woman, Sonia. I had created her as a character, a Vreeman character, actually, for a story at the Fall of Vreem, and she was the daughter of the ruler here, and she was defiant, but at her father's time of need, she became what?
Was the chancellor?
Yeah, no, this was a story I wrote when I was just starting out as a musician. It was a story I had created around the Fall of Vreem. You know, it's what bards do. We take legends and we add more onto them and create stories. So Sonia was a character that I created, and she led me to all the other spirits. And there were a lot of them, and there was a Lich King, and we fought a Lich King every night, and I would sing, and more of the people would rise up, and we would fight, and it was great. And I was there for a long time. It felt like years.
Slow you down there. So what happens to people who aren't warriors? I mean, what happens to if you die in your bed of old age and you end up in that place, where do all the ordinary people go?
Everyone, well, we would do our best to go and bring all of the people back to us. Or else the souls would either be taken by the Lich King in one of those weird portal things, or they would join us. And I came and just inspired the other people and legions to come and fight with me. But yeah, there were all sorts of souls and people of all different backgrounds. And we took it upon ourselves to try and save their souls too.
So there's nothing but the fight?
I mean, everybody kind of had to fight, at least in that circumstance. I'm sure there's like a nice peaceful afterlife somewhere, but man, was I not in that.
I mean, where do the children go there?
Josh, did I see any children? I assume I did.
In the mass of souls trying to march for the gate, yes.
Yeah, there were some kids there.
The ones in that mass were on the other side of whatever fallen being has taken taken it upon himself to kind of protect that area. I forget the name, but
the Imposter King. We called him the
Imposter King. And so you would not have gotten close enough to actually be able to interact with them. But yes, you could see them there.
Okay. Yeah, there were some kids there. I didn't chat with them much. I was mostly trying to help all the warriors, defeat a Lich King so they wouldn't all, our souls wouldn't all be, horribly mangled.
Where did the children go?
They march, mostly. They were marching a lot. Yeah, there was, so there were these huge gates. And this creature, this soul, defended that area to try and protect the people there. And there was just a mass of them, like countless numbers. And they wouldn't really interact with you unless I sang to them. Sometimes I would sing to them and then I could interact with them, but mostly they were trying to stay alive, and the Imposter King was trying to keep them alive. So we aided in his mission to try and save those souls and make sure the Lich King didn't take them.
Was this imposter? It was against the Lich, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, I know. I was confused about that at first too. I was like, wow, that sounds like a terrible name, the Imposter King. He sounds hella evil.
That sounds terrible.
But he wasn't. I don't know much about him, or whatever. He was a king, so I'm assuming it's a dude. But I don't know anything about him except that he was trying to defend the souls from the Lich King. And at some point, when you're dead, that's about the best that you can do, is not be taken by a Lich King and your soul used for the destruction of, all sentient life. So
yeah, that is why it is important to be in the Empire.
Yeah, I met all of these great people. Sonia was there, and the Diamond Queen was there, and all these people I had created showed up to help me fight. And I worked on my song to save the world, and that would usually inspire them to come and fight with me. And just day after day after day, we would fight and try and bring more souls to this writhing mass of people, which is better than being killed. So that's about the best we could do.
Because Kira is just sort of white. It says, what if the children too young to march?
I don't know.
Them?
There were just a lot of them. It was just a big old group of people. And I mean, as far as I know, this is just my section. this is where I was brought and had to defend. But a lot of the times, there are a lot of souls that would just kind of go where the thrall would call them to, and I never went there because that always terrified me. I close my eyes and hold out my hands, and I go, imagine you're in an enormous plain, and there are suns all around you, but the suns are black, and there are just hundreds and thousands of them. Just they engulf and encompass the entire sky and the whole horizon. And every time you look at one of them, they whisper to you to join them. And that was where I first woke up in the afterlife, was people whispering for me to come and join them. And I was very skeptical because that doesn't appeal to me at all. So I tried to go to Vreem, and they wouldn't let me in. And then I met Sonia, and I sang to her, and she came to life, and we went and defended and ran as fast as we could go. And she showed me where the imposter king was, and I stayed there. But I assume a lot of souls get there and just kind of go to the first thrall they find. The Lich King had his own thrall, and it's terrible, so didn't want to go there. But I didn't really want to go into a thrall. I guess I still wanted to be a little bit independent of I still want to be the master of my own afterlife. So I went to the Imposter King and worked from there. But I don't know much about it.
And these characters that you say that you created, they talk to you?
Yeah. I mean,
what sorts of things do they tell you? Do they tell you the truth?
yeah. I mean, as far as I know, do you tell stories, Daphne?
Well, there is a culture of that in my people, but well, I don't have any connection with that anymore. My life is the Empire now, and it is better. But no, but I know these voices that come into my mind sometimes, and they tell me things.
When I create a story and I want it to sound believable and I want it to be enjoyable to people, I have to believe that those characters are real. And I know that I created them, but I have to give so much life to them that they become real.
But
so real quick, Almanya, to remind you briefly. During your time there, it entered your mind. You remembered some of your very earliest memories lying awake at night, and those names were whispered in your ear.
Oh, okay. Oh, I completely forgot about that. Okay, yeah.
So I don't know if that changes what you're telling Daphne, but
not really. Sometimes, you're just inspired to create, and they come to you fully fleshed out and people, and you have to just believe that they're real, because that's how you tell a good story, is you make it sound believable to people.
But could you hear them even if they were not those that you created? Like, what if, say, someone else created them and told you about them? Could you hear them then?
Maybe, but those ones were special because they were something that I had made, and so they were the ones that came to me. But yeah, so
But they're not the spirits of your ancestors.
No. Oh my goodness, no. Sonia is not an ancestor of mine, nor is the Diamond Queen, though. Man, I wish she was. She was awesome. But no, they weren't any ancestors of mine. They were creations. They were names whispered to me in the dead of night, very creative process. But they were my muses who came to me in my time of need.
Yeah, and yeah.
And I okay.
That is when they come.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I've been writing this song, right? To save the world. It's casual and all that.
That does not sound casual, but okay.
But I was told to write it by my teacher. Her name is Celia. She's great. And she was the one who challenged me to write a song that I thought would, change the world in some way. So I said, okay. And I started writing. And it's changed a lot over time. And I worked on it a lot when I was in the afterlife between raids. But my characters called her the Dream Walker, I think. And I didn't know if you'd ever heard of that term before.
DM?
I'm sorry, what was the name again? I'm
the Dream Walker. Silly is the Dream Walker.
You're asking for her name?
No, she's asking me if I've ever heard of her.
Oh, got it. Roll a history check. Sorry.
By the way, you have never seen Vera so white, and she's sort of glassy eyes and has stopped listening to you.
Daphne would notice, except that she is fully absorbed in her own philosophical debates.
Amanya's like, yeah, this is my truth, man. While everybody's like panicking around her. It's just a good time.
Yeah.
Daphne is sorting through stuff crazily in her mind.
Daphne, you've never heard the name, not with a 15.
Yeah, no, I mean, my people, those they had the ones that told the stories, yeah, but so maybe you can ask someone in the Legion. They know all this stuff. Someone very smart, maybe at the university. Although I don't think that's the sort of thing he would know.
Maybe
But
some
there
other
are other people at the university.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm suddenly snap back. Who would know at the university about something like this?
So Meg, of course.
I'm sorry?
He's ones that Lorvi sent me to when I first came to the Empire. He's one of my kind of people, He's from the plains. He makes the plants grow.
Oh, nice.
He studies what? Death, the afterlife? He would know something about this?
I don't think so. I think he studies the same sorts of things that Lorvis does.
Maybe he's the one who turned me away.
No, that would have not been him. Perhaps you need to go to the Oath Garden.
Ooh,
We can ask
that's fun.
people about it when we get there. But his name is Meg something. He and I did not get off very well. I did not have the kind of powers that he wanted, and then he sent me off to the Hexen, and I didn't have the kind of powers as they wanted either, but they were good, and they took me in anyway. Darbat, that was his name. Darbat Meg.
But at this university, they study many things.
I suppose.
I would imagine,
moldy old books and stuff.
well, I imagine that the study of death would be rather important, considering your antipathy to anything resembling necromancy. Clearly, there's some interest.
Well, there's very different things, necromancy and death. They're not the same.
Are you okay, Ma?
What is wrong with you? You look all white.
Yeah, you're looking not great.
Are you unwell? Do you need to sit?
You want to trade places? Are you good?
Well, this is actually interesting because Liliana heard my story, but you might not remember it.
Everything's a jumble right now. So
Yeah.
Well, I have not
Almanya,
heard of this story.
if you'd like to make an insight check with advantage on yourself.
yeah. Insight on myself.
Let us simply say, Miss Daphne, I've lost people before, but they were people who could handle themselves.
Straight 18.
Not. If this is what follows.
Well, I mean, for all I know, Ma, is that everybody could have it be different. This was just mine. This was all that I knew.
To learn, because if the pressure is what comes after, what becomes the innocent?
They are in the cycle. They are reused.
So with an 18, Almanya, yeah, you remember everything that Liliana knew about Vera and her
Okay.
past.
Ma, well, if it helps, my impression from when I was in the afterlife was that this is the result of a very broken, messy world that we're in. And so I spent a lot of time working on my song to try and fix it. And if I can finish that song, then it might be different. And we won't have to worry about Lich Kings trying to destroy souls or thralls trying to pull you away.
Because that is ridiculous. The only way to save the world is the Empire.
Yeah, I'm sure. But
Daphne, you have a D8 inspiration die.
Thank you.
I always thought once people were dead, they were out of it. They were safe, or at least they were nothing, which is the same thing.
well, if I was Bremen, they would have taken me in. But you know,
the dead are never nothing. They are always something. They. How can I say this? They live on, yeah? They.
But for what? To be rolled to a lich? To be slavery?
Real quick, Almanya, this is just for you. I know the one shot was forever ago. You know that is false. You watched the Lich obliterate several of the heroes. You watched others torn apart by other ghostly beings. And so far as anyone there knew, they are gone. The soul no longer exists.
yeah, no. Souls are very much in danger in the afterlife.
Yeah, but the ancestors, they live on, yeah? And the.
Not if a lich gets them. Then they really don't. Then they're gone. Then your ancestors are out of the picture.
But they still talk. And they still come to us in visions. And that is what my people believe. You should talk to your tall friend about it. But the Fremens, we have a different situation, yeah? That the souls are protected. I don't know, it's complicated, and the keepers always give me the creeps a little bit, so I stay away from them most of the time.
I really want to meet them, you know, to be like, hey, are you the one who told me I couldn't come in?
They should talk to you. You should talk to them, yeah?
Yeah. No, Vreem seems like a relatively safe place for the dead. But if you're not Vreeman, you're out of luck.
That is why the Empire is our salvation.
I mean, not unless the entire world in the next 20 minutes is going to be Vreeman. There are people dying all over the place, and there are souls getting obliterated every second. So you're either Vreeman and maybe are safe unless something happens to the keepers, as far as I know, or you have a very real chance of not coming back. I got really lucky. I could play music and affect the afterlife, which is why I'm pretty sure that I can play music and affect this life too. But in the afterlife, you get one shot, and then if you die, your soul is gone. Like, I was very close to not coming back here.
But how's in the ancestors?
Then maybe they're protected in another way too. But people of Anashar, you know, their souls, if they're not protected. What was the term, Josh, of the term that we used for the people? Was it the Undying Legion? Is that what we called them?
Who's we?
What you called them in the one shot? What was the term for the fighting, like all of the people in the afterlife?
Oh, right, people like Sonia and Katarina. Oh, the heroes of 1,000 battles.
There you go. Yeah. If you don't get found by the heroes of 1,000 battles, you're pretty much done for. Or you join another thrall, which I never went to, so I don't have any testament to what it's called.
I suppose.
Jenny, you're muted.
Oh, I'm like, Daphne is almost like pulling her hair out. She's so confused. She's just like pacing back and forth. Just
Almanya's just very matter-of-factly like, yeah, this is what happened to me while I was there. Like, I got nothing. Sometimes I would play music. It's the only reason that the Lich King didn't get us eventually was because every time people were downtrodden, I'd play more music and then everybody would get like really excited and we'd go back and keep fighting. But I would just sit on canyon cliffs and watch the other souls when the Lich King wasn't there. I mean, it's really hard and I want to fix it.
Almanya, no, if you can answer this, but they wouldn't want a baby, would they?
The heroes?
No, well, any of them.
The heroes go and protect every soul that they can find. Doesn't matter if they can fight or not. Every soul matters in that way. But the Lich King just feeds off of souls. Doesn't matter how old they are, who they are, where they come from. If he can get his hands on a soul, he's going to take it.
Well, if that means obliteration, I choose that over thraldom.
Ma, if I had known, I would have checked for you. I would have asked around. I'm really sorry.
I don't think she'd still be there, not after 170 years.
I mean, if it helps, Liliana was there for 1,114 years, so.
A grown woman.
So at some point, there are some souls there that are just really old. And Liliana kind of in the back of my head, like, hey, like, I know, but hey. Like, shh.
so at this point, hearing you say that, Vera, Daphne has been like standing there, like pulling her hair out. And she just, all of a sudden, she just stops and looks at you and she just comes and goes down on her knees right in front of you and just puts out her hands. So, Ma, I'm so sorry for you. That is the hardest sorrows that we are called to bear. And
I liked it better when I didn't know that.
so, yeah.
I'd rather she be gone than enslaved somewhere. And it seems like being gone is a fairly common option.
Well, that is a terrible thought of anything like that to happen to a child.
This is why we have to fix the world.
Well, yeah, but clearly we're on that, right? The Empire, we will do it. It's fine.
You just go around casually saving the world every weekend?
Well, it's not so bad in here, yeah, and the Vreeman souls are protected by the keepers, as creepy as they are, and then, the problems are solved, and there's good here, yeah. You see this beautiful land that we have, and it's good. They tell me for crops and such things that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, but what about the rest of the world? We literally, there is an entire...
Yeah, well, the Empire lives to help the rest of the world. It's just that they live in ignorance.
You're working on it, right? The problems that plague the world are not the kinds of problems that you can solve in a day or a week.
Yeah, listen to Albert.
No, we've been doing a pretty bang-up job of trying to save the world for the past, 200, 300. Liliana goes 1,000 years.
Yeah, but who else is even trying? Perhaps if everybody accepted the leadership of the Empire, we could do better. Then you should join the Empire. We could do great things as you.
If I am one person in an entire legion in Vreem, I doubt I'm going to be able to do much following a bunch of different rules.
But you said
of course, no individual can fix anything, right? We all have to stand shoulder to shoulder and shield to shield. No individual matters. It's the collectives that can solve the problems.
If no individual matters, then fuck me for joining the Bard School.
You hear very quietly. Beer's gone through a tough emotional journey in the last 5 minutes.
I'm sure.
The self-control just slips for the tiniest moment. And she does say it super quietly, so I don't know if anybody would hear it. But she says, I said I preferred to be gone than enthralled.
Oh, I want to hear that.
Give me just a quick D20 and add your stealth modifier.
Yes, stealth. She's not even, she wouldn't have said that unless she had slipped self-control, but she's smart enough to say it or it comes out quietly.
Fair point. Give me that with disadvantage.
Okay, I can do that. So we're doing this as a stealth roll?
Yeah, just a stealth roll.
Cool. $16.
I'm pretty sure nobody hears that.
No, my passive's 12.
Yeah. You guys, nobody appears to react.
Good. I realize I said it, and I'm just like, what? Back.
What's Vreem doing to fix the afterlife and all of the souls that are already there that aren't Vreeman, that didn't have the chance or the joyful opportunity to be Vreeman when they were alive?
Well, that's a better question for the keepers, honestly. I don't really know,
Yeah, because it seems pretty arrogant of Vreem to be like, yeah, we can solve all of these problems when there's already hundreds of thousands of millions of dead people who I have to fight to defend on a daily basis while I also was dead. That seems like kind of a fucked up situation,
Well, it would be that much of arrogance to fix the afterlife, but we can certainly fix this life if people will just cooperate.
Yeah, if this life lasts long enough. I hate to say it, but I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of time. Everything's just been, Liliana's kind of the memories of her pushing forward of the we've been everything was terrible 1,000 years ago, and it's just steadily been getting worse. And I don't know when the Vreeman Empire started, but that graph is still going down. I don't think Vreem made it go back up at all. I think we're still just going straight into the tank. This is a mess. We have another moon, for God's sake. We have a blood god that is roaming the world uninhibited.
That would have happened if the city of Vestisur would have just submitted to the Vreeman authority.
Can you blame them though? You're asking people to give up their own autonomy. That's we have an individual.
Her.
That doesn't mean that they necessarily saw it like that. And can you blame like being a little bit hesitant.
Yeah, because living in squalor and poverty and starvation is so much better than being a soldier of the Legion.
I mean, what kind of freedoms do you have as a soldier of the Legion that they didn't have in
I
Worcestershire?
can go anywhere in the cities that I want, and people treat me with respect, and I have enough food to eat at the end of the day, and I can lie safe in my cot at night and not worry about the ghouls coming for my soul.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I have.
And you can join the Legion. I'm hoping for Force, the Vormund Legion.
I love him.
The third is the best one, Albert.
The
Which
benefit.
one?
The third.
I mean, Answer Legion is cool, but they're not the Vormund Legion, yeah?
Yeah, whatever.
And if the Legion came forward and swallowed up your echo that you grew up in and said, I'm so sorry, you can't have your own leaders and we're going to take away all culture and you have to be part of our group and you're not allowed to be individuals anymore, you'd be chill with that?
Well, my people are the kind of assholes who leave people behind in the wilderness to die. So yeah, I would be okay with that.
Also, the Empire has maintained very good relationships with the Central Plain Echoes for many centuries.
Yeah, but they're not technically part of the Legion. And if only people who are part of the Legion get saved in the end, then it seems like they're kind of getting the short end of the stick of that bargain. From the person who just was in the Empire.
He is both the Echo and the Legion.
Mm-hmm.
So Daphne, you would be aware that at least as far as they believe, the Echoes have ways of hoarding and protecting the souls of their dead from lich depredations as well.
Sure. But I kind of have, yeah.
Miss Daphne, perhaps may I ask a question on that matter? Why are the Echoes permitted to maintain autonomy? They seem to be the only people with whom the Empire maintains diplomatic relations.
Have you ever fought an orc echo?
No, but you're saying
Have you ever seen your tall friend in the battle?
You're saying that the Empire is not strong enough to conquer?
No, that is not what I am saying at all. I am saying they are smart enough to know what is an asset and what is not.
So they do believe that having mutually advantageous alliances is an asset?
Well, yeah, because the Empire leaders are not stupid.
That's very, very encouraging to hear, because it seems that every one of those very fine young legionnaires that I spoke to, and frankly even the Commandant herself, essentially told me that Reem conquers, they do not talk.
Daphne just kind of, you see, she's fighting some sort of internal battle with herself. Like orc pride is kind of rising up a little bit, but at the same time, like the Vreeman supremacy is squishing it down just a skosh. Well, the Empire, like I said, they take note of strengths, yeah? So the Echoes are very strong and they are very valuable as a resource, and they do not care to live inside the walls, except for those like me who are deemed unworthy or whatever to exist within the confines of the Echo. So we get to go away to Vreem, and the Vreemans are very generous and very considerate of our value and give us places.
Albert, as he's trundling along here, says, yeah, the Empire does not waste any valuable resource. The Echoes give us advance notice of any kind of threat coming from the south or out of the plains. They tend to keep the goblins down, prevents them from hoarding, and in return, the Empire ships many high-quality Eisen steel weapons and materials to the Echoes to keep them strong and keep them supreme out on the plains. And for those Echo plainsmen who wish to join the Empire, they improve the stock. They make us stronger. I found a green spot on my shoulders the other day. Do you think that means I have some orc in me? I think it makes me stronger.
Yeah, of course it makes you stronger, young Albert.
Well, this is
If you want, you know, we can talk later about some other things that might make you stronger.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you staying? As soon as I'm off duty, I will come find you.
I tell him exactly where I'm staying.
Are you giving him Iran's house or the Mars ward?
I am giving him my quarters with the Legion.
Hell yeah.
Wait, hang on. I think you guys are stationed currently. You're with the 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are stationed in the Imperial City. Okay, you do that.
Yep. And I give him a big wink on the sly.
Misses it completely, right over his head.
You're
I love him.
and just sort of very lightly taps you on the shoulder and goes, "But like a good on you look."
Well, your feathered friend didn't seem to appreciate it very much, but
And I wouldn't and I'll say this quietly, so Almanya doesn't hear. But I wouldn't give up. She
yeah,
was actually talking about something else. She might not have heard it.
yeah, and well, she was just, you know, reborn today, so it's fine. I give her some time.
A lady who knows what she wants. I like you.
Yeah, I like you very much. You are very small, but you are very tough, I think.
This perhaps might be a personal question. But from what I have seen of you, and now I have seen you in battle, your worthiness does not seem to be in question.
No, I have a place here in the Empire, yeah. And it's better than anything they would have given me in the Echo.
I suppose what I simply don't understand is why your worthiness would ever have been questioned. But
Well, you see,
complicated.
my people have a tradition, yeah, of, well, when one comes of age, so to speak, one is given challenges where one has to fight others, yeah? And, well, I wouldn't finish the job. Not because I couldn't, mind you, but I didn't want to. It was distasteful to me. So, and then coupled with the fact that I cannot breed, then I was useless. So they left me behind because I could not obey and I could not bear young. So they left me behind. And Loravis found me there, and that is the end of it, because I came to the Empire and I found my true fate. And I have my place of service. And someday it will be I who will save the Echo from whatever great disaster awaits them. The same sort of disaster that appears to have befallen the Sky Brothers. But it will be I who will save them, and then they will see that they were wrong.
I suspect they will.
Yeah, they will.
Speaking of as a brother, it is not all I am. And it is certainly not the be-all and end-all of what I am.
No. But they mistook, you know, my reluctance to do what I was told to do for cowardice, and it was not that. It was not that at all.
What was it? 'Cause it seems like the Vremans also kindly to people who don't do what they're told.
what they asked was not right. And never in all of my time with the Empire has any of my superiors asked me to do something that I knew was wrong.
And if they did,
They would not.
and you would be bound by oath, regardless.
The oaths are not an encumbrance. People always think of them as such, but they are not. Because those who bind me to them with oaths, they have also sworn oaths to uphold the good of the Empire and to do what is best. So I can trust that they would never ask me to do something that would be a dishonor.
What if something was good for Vreem but bad for the rest of the world?
How could that be the case?
I don't know, more of a hypothetical. But I think corruption can start pretty high up, and people can be convinced that they're doing good things.
What do you mean, this corruption? That is what happens to a dead body if it is not burnt, yeah?
Yes, think of Reem as a body, and think of the leadership as different parts of the body. The
That is
brain,
weird, but okay.
the mind. Think of the leadership of Reem as the mind, the body. If the mind becomes sick, it can convince the body that there are things for the body that are good, but are actually bad. But your mind is so convinced that you're doing something good for itself that you'll be wasting away and either ignore it or not even realize it until you die. And what if in some way the oaths could be twisted, misconstrued to the point that Freem falls from the inside?
Yeah, but that is not my concern. My concern is to uphold the oaths that I have sworn, which I have sworn in good faith, yeah? And
Yeah.
to do my duty and those who are above me, they will do their duty and abide by their oath. I don't this situation which you are describing, it is what happens in the cities in the wilderness that are ruled by people who are motivated by their own lust and their own desire for power, yeah? And it is not something which happens in Dream.
Perhaps ask one question, simply because I am curious. Actually, Josh, I'm going to ask you this question first. Have we heard of the Chancellor? Do we know Reem is ruled by the Chancellor?
Give me a history check.
Laura Beast did mention that Duquesne was an asshole.
Yeah. So did Jared.
Yeah, they've both warned you against the Chancellor.
Right. So, Miss Daphne, I suppose I must ask. There's clearly a clear chain of command in Dream, which is excellent. A chain of oaths that go up and at the top of that chain is the Chancellor, I assume.
Yeah.
To whom does he swear his oath?
So correction, Daphne. The Emperor is at the top of the chain.
Yeah, that's what.
What you guys swear your oath to is that the High Chancellor in his place is the phrase that is used in every single oath and missive.
So would it be fair, though, Josh, to say that the Chancellor swears his fealty, so to speak, to the throne of the Empire, of the Emperor, to the Hollow Throne itself? Or would
Yes.
Daphne not know that?
No, you do not know what the oaths of the High Chancellor are. But yeah, I mean, in theory, everybody is sworn obedience to the Hollow Throne.
Yeah, so the High Chancellor, yeah, he acts in the stead of the Emperor, and he swears the same fealties that all freemen do.
Why is there no emperor?
There is no emperor.
There has no emperor for a long time.
How
Well,
can
that's
you,
weird for an empire to not have an emperor.
he swears to an empty chair?
Well,
The chair
Yeah.
he does not swear to the empty chair. It's not the empty throne. It's the hollow
No.
throne. Right?
yeah,
The throne exists. It has reality. It has authorities. It's just, missing something.
A brain?
There has been no emperor since for 6 centuries. Not since the great Emperor Gendron saved the world by ending the threat of the immortal king.
yeah.
He died heroically in the effort, but saved the world.
Oh, is that what I wrote
His
this song
eyes-
about?
as he said that, his eyes kind of went up, and he was definitely reciting something.
Is that where Sonia came from? Is that like that story? Or is it from a different story?
So there were a bunch of those heroes that told you different stories. Remind
Okay.
me what Sonia told you, and I'll try to find my notes.
Sonia, this is a lore dump episode, and it's great.
I know,
love
I'm
it.
learning so much.
And I am just putting all of Jenny's personal hatred of Bream aside.
I know you're doing an incredible job. I'm quite impressed.
You guys keep saying you hate Vreem, but
I
two
don't
of you have Freeman backup characters.
I don't hate Vreem. I think it's very interesting.
For the record, Freeman backup character was going to have some issues.
So, Almanya, no, Sonia died in the first battle against the Immortal King,
Okay, awesome. Just wanted to
which was hundreds of years before the time that Albert is talking about.
Okay, awesome.
The Immortal King Rose was defeated, right, over the course of the centuries that were the Mage Wars. I'm sorry, the Lich Wars.
My lord is dead.
Albert is claiming that the last emperor killed the Immortal King once and for all.
Huh. Well, that's weird because I definitely fought the Immortal King in the afterlife every day for 3 months.
Yeah, but he was dead, yeah?
I mean, he's a lich, so liches don't
Yeah,
really
but
die.
he's still in the dead place, not in the life place.
I mean, I do hate to
Or-
break it to you, but I was also in the dead place. So, and I'm
Yeah,
no
but
longer in the dead
Laura
place.
Beach is good person, bring you back nicely.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the Immortal King. The Immortal King was killed by the Emperor Gendrund, and his threat was ended once and for all. You fought something else.
No, the dead said he was the Immortal King, and so I'm gonna kind of believe them because, they've been around a little bit longer.
You're going to believe the undead, horrible thing over the histories of the Empire?
Oh yes, I am.
Mary, you're not falling for my propaganda. You're supposed to fall for the propaganda, Mary.
Josh, you've tried to make us all fall for this propaganda since Kate came in. Not a
I
single
Okay,
I
I, have two
start,
characters that have totally drunk the Bremen Kool-Aid.
yeah, I just start reciting, like, as he's reciting, I say, "My lord, the king is dead, but we stand the gate. They killed the dark king, and an imposter is in his place. His domain lies open. Those of us who remain continue to fight. The immortal king shall not rise again."
Yeah, see, the king is dead and the imposter is on his throne.
Yeah, The
Yeah.
mortal king is not going to rise again because the last emperor killed him gloriously for saving the world.
It wasn't that the immortal king will not rise again. It is that the immortal king shall not rise again. There's a little more of a define. You have to understand the barding lingo here, where it's all about the wordplay. It's all about the wordplay.
It's all about the wordplay, but maybe there's some translation issues that you're running into where, the future tense is sometimes, right, that's the future perfect, and then there's the normal future.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm a bard. I definitely went through all of the college classes.
Yeah, but were you trained in the academy?
I was trained in a different academy and also by an immortal spirit. So,
I have not been trained in the academy, but I'm working my way there. What was yours like?
I am really happy for you. I truly am. Schooling is incredible. This is also like teacher propaganda. I totally feel it.
I just realized in my head that like the picture is like he's talking to you over his back.
My fingers are like itching. Like Almanya's fingers are like twitching as she's like, as I'm like fingering chords for an instrument that isn't there. And like going through different things saying, oh no, that definitely was the immortal king. The Dreamwalker came and yep, it was fun. It was fun. The afterlife is an interesting place. And now I've got to go fix the afterlife. So
as you do that, you start to realize strings with feathery fingers, it's gonna be a little weird.
I'm gonna have to yeah.
Might be a little difficult.
Folding back the feathers and like gonna have to like rubber band them basically to each finger to give more definition, like little colorful bands.
I mean, your fingers aren't feathers; they are feathered.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Mary, you can grow your own plectra.
I totally can. Oh, yeah, I'm sitting there like fingering. The chords like C add 9, A, like D, E minor, like kind of playing through like how the new tune of my song has evolved since I was in the afterlife. And it was funny because in the afterlife, I was tweaking the music to like figure out what like changed the world around me the most. Like my original song, a certain amount, but then as time went on, I realized as I would tweak it and write new sections and like cut different things and put in new ones, that it would change even more, and that like I could affect the world around me like way more dramatically with what I'm doing now. So I'm like just kind of slowly figuring it out and working through it, of like what iteration of this song is going to be the one that's going to fix the world. And so I'm just sitting there like kind of fingering through it and kind of murmuring Sonia's words of my lord, the king is dead, but we stand the gate. Like as though it's like a mantra kind of while I'm figuring out sections.
It sounds to me, Almanya, that the hero of this tale, at least in the abbreviated version I've heard, is this imposter king.
Yeah, he's it's kind of strange because I don't know anything about him, but he was large and dark and protected the people there, and that was all I needed to be able to do.
Again, slight addendum. Yes, he is the primary reason that you to know things try to invade that valley. But also, like in his crazy, insane, rages, any soul that comes within 20 or 30 feet of him is immediately obliterated.
Yeah.
Right. And occasionally his path kind of strays into the crowd of souls. So he protects the valley. The only soul that you've ever seen get near him without just being completely destroyed was Sonia. And even her form like shimmered in and out of existence as she tried to prevent him from just destroying you on the spot.
Yeah. Yep. He
Well, never mind. It appears that the afterlife is much like this one, and there are no heroes.
Yeah, I was really hoping it was going to be a nice, peaceful death, and then I ended up having to wait for it for like 3 months. Like, what the heck is up with that?
But there are heroes, Ma. Yeah, there are.
There are heroes and legends. Are there heroes of the afterlife?
There are
Other than
heroes
the-
in the life now.
We have the heroes of 1,000 souls in the afterlife who are doing their best.
This commandant you speak of, acting commandant, I think is the more appropriate title, but
The Imposter King?
no, the one that you were talking about earlier, Ma, yeah? It sounds as if she is a hero, yeah?
She's a person, and there appears to be no one in this life or in the next who is not simply a person who makes choices. That could be wrong, and could be right.
I mean, that is the thing, yeah? Is that the Empire, it can make heroes of us all.
I suppose perhaps we ought to define what we mean by a hero. I suppose to me the word implies some sort of infallibility, and that seems to be quite impossible.
That's why we have to fix it.
No, I don't think that the world would be a very interesting place if there was such a thing as the infallible.
Well, I don't know. I take comfort in the infallible. Because at least if I fail, then somebody else will be able to pick up where I left off and make it better.
Daphne just leans into Albert and she says, "Do you know what the infallible is? Because I'm not sure I know what they're meaning."
I really don't, but I don't know. Perhaps they can learn to take comfort in that. And he kind of gestures with his chin as kind of the Imperial City starts to fade into view as you guys approach.
So that is where I find my comfort, yeah, Albert?
Sure. Same as anybody with any sense at all.
Ah,
I look at Ma and go, oh, wow, we're very outnumbered here, aren't we?
I mean, Daphne dear, and you too, Albert, and thank you very much for all your help today. By the infallible, I mean the faultless, unable to make mistakes. I don't believe it exists, and I believe the world would be poorer if there was no such thing as a mistake.
well, yeah, I mean, the mistakes are how we grow, yeah?
Exactly.
So long as they're not, the bad mistakes that turn you into, well, we don't want to talk about that.
The worst mistakes, the lowest point is the beginning.
I like that. The lowest point is the beginning.
I don't know. It seems like kind of an untenable position, yeah, because you're getting on the Empire's case because it, can't seem to bring everyone else in line, but everybody else is making the mistake of not following the Empire's lead. And I don't know. It seems like you can only maintain one of those arguments.
Perhaps the warning I give you is we can all make mistakes. Perhaps even the ones we trust and the ones who direct our lives.
Daphne just laughs. That's funny. That's what they teach you in the Outlands, yeah?
Yes. Yes, they do.
You guys arrive at the gates to the outer wall of the Imperial City. They are opened for you at Daphne's hail, and you guys enter the city. Jenny, did I ever answer your question about the map?
I'm not sure I fully understand it, but I'm assuming from what you've explained before that the mountains are kind of in the center of the city.
No, the mountains are towards the center of the empire. I've sent you two maps. Right. One is of the city, the other is the empire.
Okay. Because the map of the city I have is like a half circle.
Right. So on the city map, where you see the flat edge of it, that's where the mountains begin and they extend.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Thank you.
When I jumped down from the rickshaw, I'm gonna walk a shoulder. Say, I'm sorry, Ma. I didn't mean to upset you. With what we were talking about before. Oh frick.
No, you're good. You're
Yeah,
back.
Am I
we can hear you now.
Okay. I would say everybody froze up for me.
Yeah, you were choppy there for a bit, but you're back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put my hand on Ma's shoulder and say I didn't mean to upset you with earlier.
No,
I know it's really hard.
dearie, I want to hear the truth. And you spoke the truth, and it is always better to face the truth in the face. Yes?
Yeah, I'm trying to make it better. I promise. I don't want anybody else to have to fight the way I had to fight to keep my soul alive.
We are
I'm-
going to make it better.
I'll try.
Us.
Yeah.
Not all on you.
Yeah,
mean-
so if you want to talk to one of the keepers, I can have that arrangement made, yeah? And send one of to you.
I would.
You. It seems to me this is the only, or the closest, certainly, center of learning on this matter, and I'd like to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't like books much myself. They make me sneeze a little bit, but
I agree entirely. I'm going to find someone to send it to who's done the reading for me.
Oh, I had to read a lot. I have a little brother who's an absolute nerd, and I went to college, so I do all that.
Ordinarily I would like to take you to, some place where there's a little bit more in the way of entertainment, but my conreader, he sort of told me I can't go those places right now because, well, never mind. But I could take you if you want.
Yeah.
Honestly, yes. But the university is what interests me most, and the keepers.
Well, I was talking about the bar, but
Oh, well,
I could use a drink and a loot.
drink, but if they have milk,
yeah, why anyone would want to drink milk in the bar, but fine. I
I also
suppose.
I have a small headcanon, speaking of the university, that Vera can read, but doesn't read very well.
Good to know.
Daphne
Right.
can read, she just hates it.
Yeah. It's one of those things like when you learn to read as an adult and it just comes kind of haltingly.
Yeah. And then,
Fancy.
Josh, one quick thing because Albert has impressed Daphne as a very smart person. She's going to tell him to go talk to Galerius and see if he can impress him with his intelligence in a way that she was never able to.
Okay.
Before he comes, back to her place later on.
All right, so
Mom.
you want me to do both?
Well, yeah, and well, no, I can't. Never mind.
I mean,
But yeah, you can come. That's fine.
of course, it might be pretty late before I get to your quarters because I'm on duty for quite a few more hours, and then I will have to go find Galerius, then have to come find you. So it might be kind of late.
You could find Galerius tomorrow. That would be fine. And I'm up late. That's no bother.
All right, yeah, as long as it's not taking too much of Amel Spear's time. Of course, I will see you later.
Well, I'm off duty at a certain point, They do let us rest, and we don't have to rest if we don't want to,
I'm just gonna lean over to Almanya and say, "Listen, fraternize."
Of course, I am excited to learn whatever you can teach me.
Wow, the sparks are really flying, Ma.
Does Josh know what he's doing? Absolutely. Does Albert? No.
Josh is married.
Am
Albert is
I,
not.
am I finessing the lines so that they definitely have multiple meanings? Maybe.
Yeah, well, I think that a Melchbeer has much to teach a mere porter about Slythin's allegiance, yeah?
Of course, I want to learn everything there is to know about the legions and what it's like to live in them.
I lean down to Ma and go, ooh, the romance is just crackling.
All
All
right.
right, well, I've delivered you here. If you would like transport within the city, that will be now it's 1 silver piece per hour. But otherwise, I have other orders to fulfill.
No, you do your thing, man. Thanks. You were very helpful and very insightful. I learned a lot.
Right, it was a pleasure. Bye. And he
Bye. See you later.
runs off down the street at top speed this time.
Love him. He's great.
All right, you're
Ma,
inside the walls of the city. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Ma, I like hold up my hands and go, so I have a lot of feathers on my fingers now, and I need to play an instrument at some point. Could you like knit me something to cover my fingers at some point? Because yeah, there's just a lot of feathers on them, and it's hard to figure out how I'm gonna play anything.
Yes, I could make you some tighter gloves, perhaps.
Yeah, like little hand warmers.
Yes, or you could unless it's painful, I don't honestly know. I don't know if you know. To trim them.
It might be hard because when you trim down feathers, in my experience as the person who wove a lot of feathers into my scales, they get really sharp at the end. They don't have like the fluff, so I wouldn't want to like catch them on anything.
Yeah, because that is good for streaming the strings, yeah?
Hey, having sharp is good, but not for
Well, the problem with that is you want to be precise when you're strumming. And if I have feathers that are all sharp on the ends and I strum down and I get a the entire way down, that kind of cuts down the crispness of the sound, which I don't want to compromise.
Perhaps you could trim them and then I could make sort of hand guards to smooth them out.
Maybe.
I could find you first if you want. To have something to make the gloves out of.
Sure, whatever would work for Ma.
Knit things that you talk about.
Ma, she doesn't know about knitting. This is a travesty.
Well, it's using sticks to weave threads together into a fabric. But I'm also a fair seamstress, so I don't need to knit. I could also sew some gloves that might be smoother.
Whatever works. I just need something to cover them up.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll mold that over. We'll make something lovely. Do you have a color preference? Something to match the colored feathers? I think it could be lovely.
Yeah, something in the blues and greens would be great. Ooh, and then maybe when I go like full bardic inspiration mode, then they'll change color too.
Ooh. We'll just have to see.
What are they talking about? I have no idea.
Oh, you saw me. I glow sometimes. I get really excited, and then I play some music and I glow.
Yeah, I mean, sure, whatever.
Clearly, the childlike wonder is lost on Jeffrey. Okay, yeah. So we're going to a bar?
Well, you can, and I can take you, yeah.
Good. I want something to drink. It's been a long 3 months without anything to drink in the afterlife, so I will gladly take something.
Josh, would I know if they can get access to a place as long as I'm with them, or?
That's what I'm double checking. So they are welcome.
They can go to the bars in the Red Ward. They just can't go to the other places in the Red Ward.
No, so that's the thing. They would be allowed to go to essentially like small neighborhood establishments that are kind of the equivalent of like a lemonade stand.
Okay.
Right. So maybe 2 or 3 houses between them share some basic brewing equipment, and they kind of serve their neighborhood. If they want access to any of the actual bars, they have to earn or buy their way out of the Mars Ward first.
Okay. So I'll just say, yeah, the thing is, you can't go to the sort of places that I can go to, yeah? But
why not?
There
Is
are
it not Nork?
no, it's that while you are here with the Legion, you have to buy your way out, or you have to perform some act of service to get out of this place where you are housed with the Legion. Otherwise, you can't go to like the places where we went, where we found Daravis's friend, that threw you out of her place. The sort of places that are on that street, the brothels and such, you can't really go there without paying your way out of this place.
Well, that's bullshit, but I do need alcohol, so okay.
Well, yeah, we can take you to some of the neighborhood places. They're quite nice, really.
Sure, I guess. Seems weird, but okay.
But
yeah,
it's,
you can't go
it's,
to
it's because the outsiders, you never know what they might do in a drunken stupor. There are some that raise the undead and kill people and get into fights and stuff. It's just a way of keeping order, really.
I mean, I guess, but didn't we already pay a bunch of money and go through an extensive screening process into the city?
If you are willing to forfeit that money, then you don't have to worry about anything. You just don't pick it up on your way out. But, then you can have full access to the places in the city.
Man, I miss the snowdrop. Okay, well, I need alcohol. Let's find a neighborhood bar, I suppose. Maybe I'll be able to pawn something off of people.
Likely to have milk.
Is there anywhere that's likely to have milk, Josh?
I want the bars to have milk. Snowdrop was so good; it gave you milk if you wanted it.
Yeah, probably the Fleisch Ward most likely to have milk in the neighborhood establishments.
I just look at you like you're crazy, Mom. I'm like, yeah, I mean, we can go to some of the places in the Fleisch Ward where you find, like, the meat and stuff.
I'm sorry, I'm really distracted by Calliope right now.
Being cute. Everybody's pictures are still all frozen, so I can't see her what she's doing.
She's down her front paws.
So cute.
She's adorable. Oh my gosh.
Right. She was doing that during my seminar this morning, and it was distracting my students.
Oh, I'm sure your kiddos loved that.
All right, so are you guys headed to the Fleisch Ward?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll lead the way.
All right. It takes you about an hour to get, because you guys have to go. That's on the opposite side of the city. As you guys wander through, you're passing these ones. Okay, cool. You pass a full district that just has kind of, you can see long streets of smithies, armories, weapon makers, bow makers, fletchers, just long streets of them off to the left, and then of course kind of the mountains on your right. You pass back through that massive plaza outside the walls of the palace, and as you get most of the way around this plaza, you can hear some. Oh wait, actually, hold on. What day is it? I might have jumped the gun.
And I'm like tour guide pointing all these things out as we pass through.
It is. There we go. She's okay. Never mind. You don't hear any of what I was about to say. But you do notice a large number of people in the streets, more so than you saw the previous day. And you can see a lot of people carrying a lot of kind of the porters that are running around seem to be carrying wagons full of brightly colored ribbons and cloth and clothing and things like that. You also see many more people than even just a couple of days ago. A lot more groups that look kind of like yours. They're a little bit out of place, not dressed like the Vremans, right? Clearly not citizens. Just kind of walking around in groups, and there are a lot of these groups. And you just kind of notice them as you pass through the street. And yeah, Daphne is pointing things out to you.
And we have a lot of Jaegers in town for the Maktan, yeah?
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Are those groups of people, do they look battle hardened?
Varying degrees, yes. It ranges from, right, definitely seen some scraps, right? Mismatched armor, trophies, etc., to genuinely people that glare at anybody who walks too close to them. And just like they're walking around like head forward. They look like they are hunting, even just as they kind of walk. Everybody's head on a swivel, right? So it just kind of a wide range of experience among these groups.
Hey, Daph, if I want to get armor made, can I do that without being a citizen here?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you have to be out of the Marsword first, to get access to the Arsword. I read my email.
Goddamn bullshit.
I'm sorry, Josh. It will never not be funny. It will never not be funny.
The accent has changed since then.
Has it though? Has it?
Yes. I finally figured out how to do closer to German, so it is once again the Oswald.
It's still not good. It's still not great.
When you get to naming things in your world, always say them out loud, especially if the culture to which those names belong have a particular accent, so that you don't find yourself just blithely unknowingly saying to your player characters, oh yeah, that's in the Arsword.
And when you are playing a character who is an immigrant to such a society, make sure that you let the DM know that you're learning the accent so that you can continue to embarrass him with calling it the Arsword.
All right, and we're back.
Good to know.
Yeah, I mean, and there is this thing that you can't spend over a certain amount of gold without pledging a service, which I think that Ma already knows, that you have to pledge a service to a citizen of the Empire or to the Chancellor himself in order to gain access to things that cost above a certain price bracket.
What about something simpler? Because it seems to me like the Marsword would certainly have for example, I hold up my janky crossbow. Simple weapons because that's the barracks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to take a look at it if you want. It's not exactly my area of specialty, but I'd be happy to take a look at it and see if maybe I can just tighten the strings for you.
Well, that's very kind. Perhaps in the morning. Perhaps drink first, sleep.
Well, I mean, you could also ask the quartermaster if they would do it. They
Yes.
might be better at that sort of thing
So-
than I am.
So the Legion will not service refugee equipment.
Yeah.
Next time. However, I have an inn with several members of the Legion, one of whom might have blacksmithing abilities.
Well, you don't need a blacksmith or any kind of smith to fix your crossbow. You need either a carpenter or a fletcher or a bowyer.
And I'll ask around my old 5th Legion buddies and see, but because I suspect that in this very heavily favor-centric society, some of them might do me a solid.
All right. So did you guys want to stop by the Mars ward before you went on to
Didn't we come from there? Isn't that where we live?
We haven't gone.
Yeah, did you guys want to stop off there before heading to the flesh ward?
Because I'm fine with doing that in the morning. That's just a thing that'll happen when we go back. So it's fine if we want to go to the pub first.
You won't need your weapons in the city anyway.
Exactly. I mean, there's no rush. I was just asking.
Yeah, that's sure.
So you guys continue through. Daphne points out, right, so the Eisen ward where you saw all of the weapon and armor makers, right? You guys can see several of kind of the Hundgera districts where the nobility and the what is essentially the Senate live. You guys pass by the Oswald, which has a number of things. You guys actually see, Daphne points out the academy as you pass by. From what you can see, it is the whole area is circular, and marking the boundary are these just 100-foot high, almost tongue-shaped black pillars with runes carved into it as high up as you can kind of see, just these intricately carved, and they stand up all around to kind of mark the boundary of this thing. And you can see a whole bunch of buildings inside. She points out the Colosseum, which is exactly as you imagine it, as you hear Colosseum, but with these huge green grass areas outside it, and then kind of paved walkways through the grass areas into the entrances to the Colosseum. She points out, the theater greater, the theater minor, all of these places. And eventually you arrive an hour later in the Flesh Ward, and you kind of settle into, all of these neighborhoods are built, but it's a whole bunch of different houses. And it's almost haphazard. There's definitely an overall design to these. But also, right, some houses are just kind of on top of others with small stone walkways that lead down to the bottom. They're kind of stacked all over the place. But all of them are centered around some kind of well or fountain or several fountains. And so all of them form kind of these little courts almost. And all of these residential neighborhoods seem to be formed primarily of just these building blocks of small little neighborhood court organized around a fountain, small little neighborhood court, etc. And you kind of settle into one of these, and it looks like 3 or 4 houses that are built kind of on top of, next to each other, all joined together, have a number of tables set out in front, where it looks like neighborhood Vremens are sitting at, some of them just kind of taking a break, drinking, eating small things. And but as you guys approach, I think probably Daphne, you're used to it, but Vera and Almanya, the smell of roasted meat, which was just an extreme rarity for you guys back in Anashur, just hits your nostrils. You guys ever you ever go to like a Ren fair and you've walked around for a long time, right? And you're super hungry, and just like bread, cheese, and just like chicken roasted on a spit it's just the greatest possible thing in the world.
Truth.
I don't know if this happens to other people, but whenever I go to a Ren fair, just like honestly, bread, roast chicken, and cheese is it's the most amazing thing I've ever tasted.
Here, is it like kebabs? Is it like entire drumsticks? Like, what are we kind of feeling?
Here you're looking at smaller pieces, kebabs. You're not sure what that roasted thing is, but my gods, does it smell delicious.
It's been a long time since I've had meat. And this is like the dragonborn sensibility coming back of like, I want to gobble it all up so badly.
One of the women who seems to live in this house just brings out several trays of, you know what, we're gonna call it, you know, some kind of small bits of meat. I'm gonna have to write up stat blocks for that. I've said it now. of meat, with kind of hunks of some kind of very hard cheese, and the highest quality bread that Almanya and Vera you have ever seen. She brings out milk for Vera. Vera, you taste it, and it is still warm. Like, this came out of a cow sometime in the last like 10 minutes. It is the freshest milk you have ever had.
I turn to Daphne and I say, you asked why I would get your milk at a bar, right?
Yeah?
Let's just say where I grew up, you could kill yourself on bathtub gin for a penny, but this is worth its weight in gold.
Well, I suppose I should try it since I can't have my usual.
Try it. It's much better for you. Keeps you, can keep you alive, to be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever.
And helps maintain one's self-control.
Well, that is the problem, you know, is that there's, well, yeah, I will have the milk.
Good for you.
Almanya, are you also drinking milk, or are you taking alcohol?
Oh, I need alcohol.
Okay. It's beer. It's, you know, it's not amazing. You've had better. But it, you know, it's perfectly serviceable beer. And you guys just kind of sit down. You eat fresh meat. It's incredible. So I haven't released the latest version of the player's guide, but because of their rarity, if you eat fresh fruit, vegetables, or meat as part of a short rest or kind of normal meal, you all gain 1d4 temp hit points. And you have a +2 to the next wisdom saving throw you make in the next 2 hours.
Nice.
Cool. Awesome.
Just because, right, these things are so rare for most of you that, like, just the morale boost from consuming this.
So, Josh, you say for most of us, so does that not apply to someone who's used to this sort of stuff?
Yes, Daphne, it would not apply to you, but Almanya and Vera, you both gain 4 temporary hit points, and if I have you make a wisdom save in the next 2 hours, you can add 2 to it, which means, Almanya, you only have to act 2.
Fair. Since it's, does this kind of like count as good things towards my getting all of my con back and getting my rest back from the dead?
Yeah, I mean, unless you spend, the next 2 hours, the remaining 2 hours of daylight sprinting around the city, yeah, this day counts.
Awesome.
So you've got 44 days to go.
44 days to go.
Woo! For a month. So good.
Can I just say that Daphne feels like an utter wimp sitting here drinking milk?
Yeah.
And she's grumbling like under her breath the whole time, and you just mostly hear, the rest of you hear words like badger and eagle and stupid.
Right. You guys passed
Is there
a pleasant meal.
Is there music anywhere around? Like, is anybody performing music anywhere nearby?
No. Not at the moment.
Okay.
Were you gonna fix that, or?
Yes, but I don't have an instrument, and so I want to know if there are any instruments nearby. Like, if there was like kind of a setup, or if I assume not, but
you can also perfectly mimic basically anything that you've heard.
that is true. I hadn't thought about that.
I just poke you in the arm and I say, shall we get them all singing?
Yeah, but what are we gonna sing? I don't know. What kind of rousing tune are you feeling today, Ma?
Know any folk songs? Something these folks might know.
Ooh, I don't think I know any Vreeman folk songs. I know a lot of Anashirian folk music.
Is there some sort of universal type of song that everybody would kind of know?
Everybody knows "Row, Row, Row Your Boat" in this universe.
Almanya, you won a festival competition.
I did.
With a song about the what was it called? It was the love triangle one.
Frederick the Red Terran, Madrid, and Louisa Markov at the Last Stand of Reem. I did do that.
Yeah, you have sung, right? Those 3 were Vreemans.
Yeah.
Like that whole event took place at Weston Tour, actually. And kind of that section of the wall.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a rhythm on the table. Like, not obnoxious, but just start it at our table.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try and sing it like just the way that I had sung it when I won that competition. Kind of starting a little quietly, and then as kind of attention is gained, then getting louder. Cause like if people are like, oh man, like this ain't a good time, then I'll stop. But like as it seems like people are kind of getting into it, then I'll like get a little bit like more into it as I'm going, and continue to sing through this song that I hope everybody else knows.
All right. Give me a performance check and subtract 4 from it.
Can I help her out though? Because I'm trying to encourage audience participation, even if they don't know the song.
Yeah.
You can also give me a performance check.
Oh God, I can't give her advantage?
Nope.
Fine.
Ooh, 9.
9. Okay.
It's not great.
Oh, 5. Not good at all.
5. Okay.
I need to copy my dice.
You guys are able to get like children stop playing and definitely start to gather around. A couple of adults nod their head in time. They know the tune. A couple of people start to join in singing, it's very clear very quickly that the words that they know to that tune are very different. So in order not to just like run over y'all's performance, they stop singing.
Okay.
But people definitely enjoy it. And kind of you finish, and all of the kids right kind of drift away. But a few others are like, again, another one.
Okay. Can I sing another song?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have them written down somewhere. I think the two that you sang at the festival were that one, and then the Lay of Embalarex.
Yeah, Embalarex the dragon. Yes.
Yeah.
I did that one.
I have notes on that somewhere. But those are the only two that I know by name, and Embalarex is definitely an Unisher Westisher local song.
Okay. Can I then instead sing about Sonia, because it is about Vreem, even though it's my own song. Once it's like about Vreeman pride and Vreeman glory, you know.
Yeah.
Can I sing
go
that
ahead
one?
and give me a performance check with advantage.
Yes.
And tell us the story that you're singing.
All right, let me performance. How do I do a skill check with advantage? Oh, hold on, I see it. Yep, I got it.
Yep.
Okay, so a 15.
Okay, 19 minus 4.
Yeah.
15.
So the story of Sonia is that her father is the chancellor. So it is kind of funny because I realized later, I was like, oh yeah, I know what the chancellor is. I wrote a song about the daughter of the chancellor. And she was like a defiant warrior who didn't agree with things that were going on in Vreem. But like at this final stand in this battle, she's the one who showed up to aid her father and bring Vreem to glory. And yeah, so it's the story of like a rebellious daughter who takes responsibility and joins the fight in Vreem and ends up saving them.
Right. Okay, so 19. Yeah. Vera, did you want to assist with this one as well?
Sure.
All right, give me a straight performance check.
I do a little like beat, and then I like tell like kind of motion for her to like continue with that beat.
Okay.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
It took a moment to get into it, and Vera, it's been a while since you've danced, right? It's been a while since you've really done a lot of physical things other than sneaking around and trying to kill things and not die. But you recently lost 7 years, and I guess I shouldn't say lost. You recently gained 7 years, and so kind of as you start to get into it, you realize some of those aches and pains they're just not there anymore. And you get the kids dancing. Again, they don't know the words to this one. Whatever words they know to this tune are very different. But they are definitely dancing and laughing. And eventually kind of the people who run this small establishment, as kind of the sun starts to go down, bring out torches to kind of keep the area lit. Yeah. There is no sound again.
No, that's weird because I didn't type that. I think it just like appeared again. I don't know why. It's the internet.
Cool.
All
right. There's a ghost in Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah.
We stand. I just want to keep on.
Love it.
I just want to keep on like singing and kind of performing because it brings me a lot of joy. And it seems to kind of brighten up the space. So throughout, like while I'm drinking my beer, it makes my soul feel more connected to my body when I can perform. So.
And I mean, Daphne will also join in and kind of hum along and sort of do a kind of a harmony as you go through.
Yay.
Is that something we do in the echoes is sing?
Tell you what, Almanya,
Yeah.
I'm going to have you make a Constitution saving throw, but add your proficiency bonus to it.
Okay.
We'll call it that.
So even though it's -5 or whatever.
Oh, yeah. So I guess instead of using Constitution, use your performance modifier.
Oh gosh. Okay. So just roll, add my performance modifier.
Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna be a 16.
16. Okay. I'll shave a day off of your recovery time.
Yes.
43.
Woo!
Yep.
A
When
day
you-
is a day.
When you finish the song, Almanya, can Vera ask you a question?
Yeah.
If we're in the sort of
like-
the pause afterwards.
I'm like breathing hard and brushing feathers out of my face and being like, oh, it feels so good. Oh.
I don't know if I've ever asked you this before, but you're a trained bard. You're trained in the stories.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of any stories about halflings?
About
we-
what? About halflings?
Where we came from and what we are? Because we don't know.
Josh, what do I know about halflings in the Bard College? Like stories that we've told or things that I studied? Or songs that I've heard other people have written.
Halflings in the Bard College. Roll a history check.
Their stories or stories that people have written about them.
So specifically halfling stories.
Yeah.
I feel like this has come up before, hasn't it?
Yeah, because there's this thing in your guide that halflings have this mysterious thing where no one has any idea what they are. And
Yep.
so I imagine that is actually some fairly fertile ground for bards to go crazy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Go ahead, Almanya, roll for it.
Okay. 14 history.
14. You don't know of many halfling stories. Any like specific ones? You do know of them. There are about as many halfling origin stories as there are halflings.
Okay.
Again, yeah, as far as anybody knows, they just suddenly were.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know any specific songs, but I know that there are tons and tons of halfling origin songs out there. I mean, I read about them, didn't learn any of them specifically in my classes, but yeah, there's a lot of them. If you want me to like find one, I'm sure I could ask around and see if I can find a specific song.
Idle curiosity. Like you said, every halfling has their own tale. My ma used to say that not that we simply appeared, but that we always were. It's not quite the same thing.
Always were. Huh. I'll have to write you a song then. Song about halfling history. I'll write you a song, Ma.
Thank you.
Yeah. So has everyone had enough for supper?
Oh yeah, it was great. You have to come back here.
Yeah, well, we can. It's just that we've only got about 30 minutes before we need to head back. Yeah, so it's lovely to hear you sing, Almanya. You've got a beautiful voice.
Thanks, Daff. I liked your harmonies. I was really impressed. Not a lot of people do harmony to my music.
Well, it's some scenes that we do, where I come from.
Nice.
And I mean, we do it now in the legions too, to a certain extent. There are the songs or the stories, really, that they tell when we go into battle. Have you not heard those before?
I don't think so. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time around Freeman, so I don't really know their specific songs. All the ones that I learned were about Vreem in history, not about Vreem as it is really right now, because everybody was so cut off. But I would love to hear them and maybe put my own spin on them, or just hear them and be able to play them at some point.
Yeah. Well, I'm not the best person to teach those to you, but I'm sure that there are others who would.
Yeah. When I get my hands on a lute, I'll have to play you my song. I could sing it, but I do kind of like the playing
So
aspect of you.
It's the lute that you need, yeah?
I mean, it's my main instrument. I can also play the drums and play the viol and all sorts of stuff like that, but I prefer the lute. It's my favorite
I see.
because you can sing with it and you can get so much more of
Well,
it.
it is very lovely, but I've heard of you just singing. It's very nice.
Thanks. Yeah, I like the act of playing because before I was a dragonborn, and I enchanted my voice so people would be able to understand me, and it was easier to sing if I had something to kind of play along with and learn with. But now I can just sing in any voice I want. It's kind of strange. It's really cool, but also a little strange. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of neat. I'd love to get one to carry around with me. I used to have a really pretty one, and then it got destroyed.
Well, that is sad. I'm very sorry.
It's all right. It was a gift from oh God, Ma. Have we talked to our dear friends? To our patron? And how long? Oh no.
This is out of character, but remember that Veer doesn't like him and doesn't trust him as far as
It's true, but oh my gosh.
the one thing.
It's been a long time. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Who is this person that you need to cut in contact with?
I mean, I don't really know if we have to get in contact with him, since I died. He probably still thinks we're dead.
Well, let's simply say, Miss Daphne, that one of my interests in Reem is to eventually find some way to communicate with our families back in Onishar. I don't know if you know if that's possible, but it's something I would like to try to arrange.
Well, I mean, you could ask, but well, I don't know that would be a good idea. But I mean, you could ask.
I'd like to call my family. Did you guys tell my family that I died?
Did we tell your family that you died? It was a lot. I'm sorry. This was episode 9. I don't think we did. I think we bailed.
We just left. We just left.
I left a note for my family, but nope.
My family just assumed when I disappeared.
Don't worry, Talia's totally told them by now, right?
Oh my gosh.
Totally.
Oh my gosh. I gotta contact my family. My family probably thinks I'm still dead, or they just have no idea what happened to me. Oh my God, Ma!
Yeah,
Ma, my family!
but I mean, I must confess, I'm still a little bit confused about when you came through the gate. It was the dragonborn person. Was that your original body?
Yeah, I used to be a blue dragonborn.
But then you're not anymore. So, well, not to put too fine a point on it, but well, are they still your family?
Yeah, they're still my family.
But I
I
mean,
have an older
are
sister
they
who
still-
wanted to be a blood priestess, and 2 brothers, one who's a swordsman and one who is studying a bunch of artifacts that I left for him. Oh my God. And
Please, Myrna.
Miss Daphne, can you say, when you have a child, you give birth to a body, but also a soul. And
No,
soul of Almanya is still as much her mother and father's child as she ever was.
well, yeah, but I mean, the dragonborns, do they think the same way as you do? Does they notice or care that Almanya is still Almanya, or will they just see some bird person?
The consulate may, but not my family.
But I hope
Family
that is
is-
true. I
My
have
family has always
been
been.
deserted by family, and I don't wish that on you.
My father almost failed his trials. They don't have much of a good relationship with the embassy at this point.
Your family is your family, Almanya.
Yeah,
Always.
they had. My
Josh,
family
you're-
doesn't. No part of me thinks of my family as dragonborns. They are my family. They are the people who I love and the people who I live with and the people who raised me and the people. They're my family.
But are they the people who would leave you behind?
Oh, force no. Not at all. They worked so hard to try and get me ready for my trials, and they, even when I wanted to go into the bard school, which isn't considered a good thing by dragonborn standards, they were so supportive of me trying to learn something that I wanted to learn and trusted that I would make decisions that were good for me. They could have forced me into a different school, but they didn't. They wanted me to do something that I wanted to do, something that was good for me. And then I would work towards my trials. And then once my trials were done, then I could do whatever I wanted.
Because then you must seize them again.
Yeah.
We'll find a way. We all left people behind. I won't put too fine a point on this, but my people are in perhaps a dangerous line of business.
No shit, Ma.
Phil,
There are a great many of them to lose.
Phil,
We don't
Yeah.
know what happened to them.
Well, I'm sure that everyone's families are very complicated, but what is not complicated is that the sun is going down and you have to be back into the Mars world before the sun goes down. And that is my responsibility as your guide. So come along, then.
And you, Miss Daphne, have a date.
Well, I wasn't going to mention it. It's fine. You never want to appear too eager. It's best to keep them waiting for a little bit, But come along, then. And someday, Almanya, we will have to talk about families.
Yeah, I want to hear about your family at some point.
I don't have one. My family is a legion now.
Well,
But-
yes, I want to hear about that too.
Yeah. Well, it is much better than the other. And as I say this, I'm like picking up their dishes, stacking them off on the corner, and just herding them up.
We'll go.
All right. You guys, as the sun is going down, you head back across the city to the Mars ward, back to your barracks. Daphne, are you? You've delivered them back to the Mars ward, and so your duty is over.
Yeah.
At least for the day, and basically it's up to the gate guards to make sure that they don't leave again before dawn.
Not my job.
Yeah. So Albert shows up eventually at your door. I was gonna say, you realize Albert's like 15, 16, and then I realized Daphne is actually 13. So
Yep.
Gotta love ages.
orcs age quickly.
It was
Um,
recently pointed out to me on Twitter that I am playing, and I quote, a baboo, which I assume is a
Baboo.
term for a baby.
You are a wee bab.
Got it. Are you trying to seduce him?
Of course. What else
Cool.
would I be doing?
Give me a persuasion or intimidation check with advantage.
Well, I'm not. So there's this thing about persuasion / intimidation in Daphne's world, is that she doesn't really know the difference between the two. All she knows is that when she talks loud, people tend to do what she wants.
Yep.
So she's not being mean about it, but it's definitely still an intimidation.
Cool. So yeah, give me an intimidation check with advantage.
Cool. Let's see. And this is totally new for Jenny. I have never done this before. Okay. Okay, mod 20.
Cool. Yes, the young female has very little difficulty seducing the young hormonal teenager. So we'll go ahead and end your story there for the evening.
Yep.
Vera and Almanya, what are you guys doing for the rest of the evening?
I will. What time is it? It's sun has gone down, but
It's sundown, and so in this season, it's probably the equivalent of 7 or 8 in the evening.
I am going to go to our tent barracks wherever we've been sleeping.
Yeah, in the barracks, yeah.
And I will use my meditation technique, but I'm trying to listen for Gideon.
Okay. Give me a wisdom check.
Because I haven't felt his presence since the big fight, the Red Moon fight.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, say that again. That was wisdom check?
Just, yeah, straight wisdom.
10.
10.
You passed the evening in meditation.
Oh wait, I'll add 2 because of my fine meal?
No, because you guys were performing and whatnot for about 2 hours.
Fine.
Nice. And I thought it was a wisdom saving throw.
Also, that's only to saving throws. So you get no, not even the barest hint of Gideon.
Even though I know that, I'm just gonna sit there in my little cross-legged and just say, Did you find our baby up there, or down there, wherever it is? And just sit in the dark for a bit.
Okay. There are sleeping legionaries all around you. You know that the Mars ward is currently housing 2 full legions at the moment, which is, from what you've seen, capacity. So every bed is taken, and you guys have room with some of the legionaries. So you pass the evening surrounded by slumbering soldiers, in meditation, thinking of your husband and your daughter.
I'm looking for paper or parchment or something along those lines.
Okay. Yeah, you find the quartermaster. How much paper are you looking for?
Maybe like 10 sheets at the moment. Nothing crazy.
Okay. That'll cost you 1 gold.
Okay.
If you just want 10 sheets of just normal paper.
Yep.
So one gold. Go ahead and mark that off your sheet.
Okay. And some ink.
Probably another 5 silver or so.
Okay. Awesome. 341.
Right.
341. And I can't, for some reason, doesn't want to let me change my treasure amount. Anyway, and then I'm going to sit and start penciling out some notes for a song for Ma on the history of halflings.
All right.
Because all of my songs were taken by the monks when I was Liliana, so I'm going to start writing my music again.
Right.
I also jot down everything I have on my song to save the world in case something happens. I want to have like a record of it. So I jot down everything that I have for that too.
All right. So you pass the evening of the 9th of trade peacefully, with companionship in some cases. And you wake up as the morning right, the call goes out for morning what are they called, drills. You guys kind of wake up to the noise on the 10th of trade, and the day is yours.
Daphne looks ridiculously happy.
Daphne
Oh.
looks bright and chipper this morning.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I have my duties at breakfast, so I need to go and cook something.
All right. You continue to rule the mess.
While I'm ruling the mess, I am going to hunt around I call them my legion. They're not. But you know, the one that we've been hanging out with. Our legion.
Yep.
Is there anyone there who would be a bowyer or a carpenter of some kind who might be able to help me out?
The moment you mention it, you've got like 5 different people who are going, yeah, I can fix that. No, you're shit at it. I know how to do that. Another one is like, then is it the cross piece that is broken or the string itself? You have lots of people who, the moment they are off duty, would be willing to take a crack at that on their own.
That is very sweet. I will take one of them up on that offer, or all of them, but I don't want to do all of them because they will all screw it up. So I pick them.
You want to go ahead and give me an insight check to see which, if any of them, actually genuinely knows how to do this?
Exactly what I was going to say. Which one looks the most competent? If not, I'm just going to trust him. Dirty 20.
Nice.
Dirty 20. There's definitely one that has all of the right calluses that you notice kind of on their hands, and this person knows how to handle a crossbow. So yeah, as you give it to her, as soon as she is kind of her shift is over, she will have it back to you.
Thank you. Perfect. All right. Well,
What would you like to do today?
My first priority, and I believe now Almanya's, is communication. Do you know whom we could ask about that sort of thing? Probably the commandant.
Well, yeah, I mean, who would I know who the right person to ask would be, Josh?
Give me 1 second because I need to look something up.
Sure.
Because I imagine magical means the easiest, which would imply talking to the hexes.
Yeah. Daphne, give me a straight intelligence roll.
Well, let's see. I still have inspiration, right? That's not going to help. That's a 4.
4. You're not sure. You know the Legion is probably not going to waste resources on a refugee.
Well, I could ask the Tribune, I suppose, if she would know anyone who would help. But she's very busy and I hate to bother her, honestly.
I will also then, while I'm for carpenters and bowyers, I can ask just amongst my little gang of people who know who I am. Are any of those people they have mages in the 5th Legion, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
maybe one of them who I know.
Yeah, you're gonna get pretty much the same response.
Mm-hmm.
They are not allowed to use their resources on you guys.
I'm not asking them to do it themselves, but if they know like a superior officer or higher up in the camp or in the city.
So they can all point you to their officer. Like anybody can point you to any officer in the Legion. So are you looking for anyone in particular?
Well, I'm looking for, if I'm asking the mages, first of all, I'm asking them, is this possible? Vera doesn't understand magic. Is it possible to send a message long distance to a specific person? Number one.
Yeah, you grab a Hexen, large male orc. Yes, that is very possible.
And I know that can such communications be purchased here in Dream? Is there anyone who would have that ability who would might be able to request that, or perhaps do a favor for it? We are, of course, willing to pay.
The Legion will not perform such a service for you as a refugee, but many of the Jaegers that adventure far outside the Empire often discover powerful abilities and may be willing to do that for you for a price.
That's intriguing.
The competition begins today, so you can find most of them at the Colosseum, or if you wish to visit the quarters, the Guild Hall for the Miss of Honor, you can always find Jaegers there as well.
And this competition, I assume it's a tournament of some kind, just from what I've heard.
You have not been told of the competition?
No. Remember,
Well,
we're filthy
I pointed
refugees.
people out to you yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've heard the word, but we didn't discuss it further.
Yeah, the competition is a two-part competition. The Maktan, the first part begins today and lasts for 5 days. And the gathering lasts, it begins on the 23rd and goes for an entire month. If you wish to talk with any of the Jaeger parties, you should do it before the 23rd. The gathering mostly takes place outside the Empire.
Good to know. Thank you. That's very helpful. This is just me speaking to the DM here.
Yeah.
I suppose, considering all the stuff we did with the Legion, because we were with them for a fairly long time, they don't necessarily owe us anything.
Nope.
They owe us a favor or whatever.
If there is any obligation in any direction between you and Tiff, it's definitely you.
We did save their commandant's life.
You know what? That's fair.
But they brought you to the Imperial City.
Yeah. Also, they picked you up as basically helpless stragglers. Gave you a place, got you to the Empire. They from what you've gathered of the Vreeman consciousness, as far as they're concerned, they would probably think you're in their debt. Because again, you guys are not. This is Daphne accepted. You two are not actually capable of virtuous action.
It means that we're dirty, dirty unbelievers.
kind of like in the interactions between you, they have been extremely virtuous towards you. You've been doing your best as best as outsiders can, and it's a great effort.
But they clearly hire irregulars.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean they make use of Jaegers all the time and irregulars.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Okay.
But they're not in their debt. They're just the Jaegers do the job that they ask them to do.
And get paid for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the Jaegers get paid. The Jaegers do a job. Relationship over until a new job is needed.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we're square. 'Cause it seems to me like we were not helpless stragglers at any point. We were always irregulars.
Oh, Jenny wholeheartedly agrees. Daphne would tell you the
You-
error of your ways.
You say that, but you never had to spend the night in Worcestershire, like finding shelter basically on your own. You always had a place to go where others were protected.
Yes.
Like,
but we
You
were
guys
also
could make
Right.
you guys could make it through the streets, but you had a safe place to sleep at night, right? Which is very different from, oh my God, we need to find a hiding place as the sun goes down and things get really dangerous out here.
Hmm. Okay, never mind. It's just it's weird because I felt like all the time that we were there, we were essentially doing jobs for them.
You did one job for them,
And we got paid.
which was to rescue the not rescue, but to find and honorably put down the griffin. Everything else was you guys.
Right. I keep forgetting that the tower adventure was us.
Yeah, that was, I mean, you told the commandant about it, and she was like, cool, okay, but didn't seem willing to put resources on such a dubious venture. Right? She had a job, and that tower didn't necessarily have anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very much your guys' own adventure.
Yes, and then we did an assist on the Red Moon, and that's pretty much it.
Mhm.
Right. You guys fought as auxiliaries during the Red Moon.
Right. For which we were compensated through transport to the city.
Oh yeah, you could look at it that way.
Yes. Oh, this is the way Vera thinks of it. It's all a matter of exchange, and she wants to be clear that they're square and that she is in fact not in their debt, but also to make sure there aren't any debts to call in.
Yeah, I think based on what she's seen of the Vremans, it's probably square.
Okay, good to know. I don't like being in debt.
Yeah, no. At the moment, the only person in debt is Almanya.
I am because I said I was to Lorby.
Yes, you made a promise.
Yes. This is entirely a matter of Vera's personal honor that I do pay my.
True. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of it from the Vreeman standpoint, where like if you're in debt, that means there is an oath binding you with metaphysical consequences if you break it.
Yeah.
So
I may lie, but I pay my debt.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I say let's go find ourselves some Jaegers.
Sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's no problem. I can take you around the city wherever you want to go. Yeah. But I mean, you also mentioned wanting to talk to some people, the keepers and the people at the university. And
So very true. To be honest, though, the matter of communication with our families is rather more pressing, at least for me. I'd rather try and figure that out first, especially since all of these Jaegers apparently appear to be all in one place, conveniently. And
Yeah.
if you have no interest in competing in this competition, I would like to watch.
well, that is good that you have no interest in competing. I mean, not to, but the big one's not back yet. Yeah.
As you say that, man, the food this morning was even better than previously. It was amazing. What are we doing today?
Guth, you're the best. I love you.
Almanya, you are the best.
We're
We
gonna
got you, dude. We're gonna go and meet a bunch of adventuring parties to see if they have anything cool that will help us talk to our families. And you're welcome to join us, or you can do whatever you kind of want. Like, you definitely don't have to come with us if you're not feeling it, but we're gonna go and meet some hopefully big burly people who maybe have cool stuff.
Sure. I mean, and he looks back, and you can see there's actually there's a full game of Ruck Tag currently going on as the legionaries of the fifth teach it to the legionaries of the third.
Yep.
Right, eighth is at the most. Okay. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll come with you guys."
All right.
This whole city, it gets kind of boring sometimes. So maybe
we won't be leaving the city.
Yeah, but maybe something will happen in the streets.
Yeah, maybe something cool will happen. I want to be there for that. Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, well, as I was saying, they take entries of Jaegers, but there are all sorts of skill levels, and some of them, they might be difficult.
If we can find a loot along the way, I'd like to buy a loot.
Yes.
Yeah, that might be a little bit difficult too, but I've been keeping my eye out for you, Almanya, and looking about.
Are instruments hard to find around here?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
why?
Well, it's hard to find someone who's a good craftsman, The best
In a city
ones
like
are in-
this, the greatest city in the world, they don't have fine craftsmen of instruments?
Well, yeah, but the problem is the price may be more than you can pay, and it may be outside of the districts where you are allowed to purchase things. So, but of course, all of that goes away if you find some sort of person who's willing to be your patron and get you out of the Mars fort, or if you, sacrifice the money that you paid to get into the city. I mean, there's ways around it.
Okay, Daphne, hypothetical question. What if I find a loot that is within my price range, that is outside of this ward? Could I give you money and you could go buy it for me?
No.
Why not?
Well, that wouldn't be quite honest, yeah?
They don't believe in giving gifts between friends.
But it wouldn't be a gift if she paid me for it.
I'm not paying you, it's not like it's an illegal transaction. It's an instrument.
Yeah, the limits are there for a reason.
So it's not okay to send somebody to buy something for you because you need somebody else to go and get it? That's not chill around here?
That is not my function for who I am. It's not what I'm here for. I'm here to show you the glories of the Empire, not to be your personal shopping clerk.
Well, the glories of the Empire seem pretty stupid if I can't rise above my station and get a nicer instrument, but fine.
I mean, we will keep our eye out, yeah, and if you find something you can't live without, then maybe you're willing to do the service to get it.
Also, Almanya, there is another option. It does depend on how long we'll be in this city, but you need to self-recuperate, and that is the laws of supply and demand. You were very much appreciated last night at that little tavern, and frankly, if you get enough people who want to hear you play the lute may produce itself.
That's true.
Well, and I mean, if if you find a Jaeger that has the sort of instruments that you want, there wouldn't be under any obligation to bind you to acts of service, yeah?
That's true. Maybe I could trade with them for it. Also, I have all of these really cool pieces of snail shell that I want to make into armor, but apparently I can't, pull myself up by my bootstraps and make enough money to go and have a craftsman do that either, because I have to not be in this section. Oh, okay, whatever.
It's
All
not
right.
about the money, yeah. There are things that are more valuable than money.
Right, but time is also kind of the essence wherever we're going, seeing as I am already indebted to someone.
But yeah, that is why it would be wise not to rack up more debts than you can pay.
Mm-hmm.
That is how the faithless happen.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to ask about them. Have we seen any, incidentally?
Any?
It's faithless.
No.
Yes, I've heard that word, faithless, and I've gotten a vague impression of who and what they are. But where are they?
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
Where are the faithless?
Well, they're cared for. So, about this Miss of Honor place, yeah? Shall we get going?
Definitely noticing her changing the topic, and we'll be like, yeah, okay.
And investigate further.
Sorry, God sent me a message, and I realized I
The
missed
look on Grace's face.
That's my. Wait a minute here. Wait. Okay.
Well, you said you wanted to get something to communicate with your family, yeah? And Almanya, you said you had some sort of snail shells? I'm
Yeah,
not
so
sure what sort of armor you can make out of snail shells, but
they're really big shells. They're like huge pieces of chitin, and I want to do something with them.
Would I know anything about that sort of, considering where I'm from, Josh, in a coastal-y sort of region? Do I have any idea what this might be?
Like what the snail she's talking about is?
Yeah.
Give me a nature check.
Cool. I mean, that is where I'm from, the coast. So, I don't know.
I figure I can get a discount because I'm bringing my own unusual material.
8.
8? No.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I don't know why you'd make armor out of snails, but that's fine.
Because it looks cool. Come on, Deb. It's about the aesthetic.
But they're small. They're about like so, yeah? And
Oh no. This one was I reach into the bag of holding and I start to pull out one of the pieces. Like this enormous flail snail shell.
She pulls out probably one of the smaller pieces, and it's you ended up having to break them
in half.
Break it into 8 pieces, right? Because the larger piece wouldn't fit in the bag of holding. So yeah. So she pulls out this good oblong chunk of shell that's very smooth, has these just beautifully intricate swirls in it, and is kind of this bright rainbow color that shifts and moves around in the sunlight. Frankly, it's quite beautiful. And if it didn't look so heavy, as far as ornamentation goes among your former echo, this thing is amazing.
Okay, but here's the real question. What is the bag she pulls it out of? Like, does it look like it would have fit in there?
Yeah, no, it totally would have fit in there.
Yeah, but I mean, you have the one piece, yeah? It's not that much. It's
I've
very
got tons
expensive,
more.
but it's
I've got like
hardly enough to make a bunch of armor out of.
I've got like 12 whole pieces of this thing in here. It's fine.
In that bag?
Do you start pulling them out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she pulls another, which might have fit in there, and then a third, which probably wouldn't fit, and then a fourth, which diff, and then a fifth, and it's just like, what?
I'm making like a pile, like a stack on the floor there until there's 12.
Daphne, as their minder, essentially, you have a copy of their passports.
Oh, so I know what it is. Okay.
Which includes a detailed description of all of the capabilities of all of their magic items. So
I guess I glanced over it and I didn't really it didn't register what it was going to do. Because that is far more impressive than your shells. That actually is useful.
Well, the bag, I mean, yeah, but like, I don't know. I'd like to embroider like some flowers or something on it. You know, it's okay. But the shell, like the aesthetic, Daphne, the aesthetic.
Well, I'm sure that there are craftsmen in the Arsfart who would be able to do that for you, but it's just
the pronunciation changes every time. It's a little.
Yep.
And it's not be funny.
Well, you know, I'm sure that. So maybe you want to keep working up to that, yeah?
Yeah,
Unless you
I mean,
can
it's
find
not like-
one of the Jaegers who'll do it for you. But shall we go?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Coliseum. Or
Oh, actually, can I motion to Daphne and be like, hey, wait, you have our passports, right?
You know, you each
You
have a
your
copy.
own.
Oh,
She's just able to basically monitor and look at them.
what is the unidentified runestone that Almanya has had on her for many, many, many a session?
Oh, great! It's a great way to have somebody else identify your thing. Yes.
Yeah. What is it?
Great question. I hope I programmed which one you have into Fantasy Ground so that I can go in and just click on it and say identify.
You said when I rolled an Arcana check on it as Talia, you said I felt safe.
Damn.
So it's some sort
that is a
building
fantastic.
thing.
Cool. Where would I have that written?
I don't know.
All right. Great question. Let me find that. Meanwhile, what are you guys doing?
well, the question is to find this potentially useful Jaeger. There seem to be two options: either we go to the guild hall itself or to the Colosseum. I personally favor the guild hall just because it seems like the Jaegers there would be more in a state of rest and
Yeah.
like the conversation.
And I look at where Guth is, and then I pull Vera kind of away from where Guth is. And I say quietly to Vera, and that way, you know, your big friend, he won't get himself into some trouble and then get you all embroiled in something that you're not looking for today, because there are so many things I want to show you in the city that you could see that would be better than beating someone's brains out in the arena, yeah?
But
Yeah.
if you go to the arena, it's the most fun Goose has in this city. So I'm not going to take a table, but perhaps not today.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Oh, that's true. Guth is gonna love everybody beating each other up. It's gonna be awesome.
Can we fight in it? Can we do that?
We have to be registered, if I'm not incorrect.
Do we have to talk to another Archreaver?
Probably.
And they will use the stick on us.
I
The
know.
fights here are probably not worth it anyway.
Don't worry, man. We'll find something great. Promise.
Good job. Out of character here. In the stuff you sent me, you'd said they had to be registered to do some of the other things, but you didn't say they had to be registered to fight in the arena, do they?
Correct. They are. Right, so they missed the qualifiers, so they can't fight in the actual events. But
Right.
As soon as they are out of the Mars ward, they would be allowed to participate in the kind of the lower fights that build up to kind of the main events of each day.
Okay, so
Good.
I'll explain that to Guth. Again, trying to minimize the accent as much as possible. Explain to him that he has to give away all of the money that he gave, or that presumably someone else gave on his behalf.
I didn't give any money, so
He owns 4 things.
yeah, Vera kind of bankrolled him.
Yeah, but you know, Guth, it's more of a thing of you have to not be housed where you are at the moment in order to be
But
able
so-
to do these things.
So why don't we just give up the money? I mean, I don't know why you want it in the first place, and then we
But
can
I
do all
don't
of these things, because being in the Mars ward is just kind of stupid, and we can't do anything in this already boring city.
Yeah, but I agree
You
with
can tell me
you.
later how
but
I'm doing on the.
You're doing great. In fact, the producer said in the chat that it was pretty good, Guth. So there you go.
Thank you.
Josh, the runestone is hella awesome. I also have 3 mysterious potions.
Oh, God.
Um,
All right, why don't you go ahead and read one if you want to read the runestone, and I'll figure out what these damn potions are.
Yeah, the runestone is super cool. So if I'm wearing armor or wielding a shield, I can use a bonus action to smash my fist into the ground and speak a command word and cause an immobile dome of force to spring in existence around and above me that remains stationary for a minute. And the dome automatically repels non-magical ranged attacks attempting to pass through it, and the area inside is considered difficult terrain for hostile creatures.
I like that.
I know, right?
Super cool.
I'm really excited.
So, whoops, I don't think it copied quite rightly. So, you would need somebody to expertly implant this rune in the armor or the shield, and then you can do that.
Okay. Good to know.
So your 3 mysterious potions are all the same. Each is a potion of fire giant strength.
Nice.
So for 1 hour, holy crap, ass. For 1 hour after drinking, your strength becomes 25.
Hell yeah. Nice. Okay.
Also, I just realized I still have 1 more lesser potion of longevity. Remind me what it would do if I drank it.
So if you drink it, I think there's a 10% cumulative chance that each time you drink one, you actually age by that amount. So if you drink it, I think there's a 10% chance that you'll be 7 years older again. But there's a 90% chance that you get another 7 years younger.
I'm gonna have to think about that.
You'll be almost middle-aged.
Nah, I'll be past middle age because I was already pushing 200, which
Said
is
almost.
yeah. I would be human equivalent of my 60s if I took it though.
Nah, that's fair.
But the way I'm thinking is I started in my 80s, I went back to my 70s, and I took it the first time.
Man,
Oh no, it's
If
not.
you-
It's not 7 years. I'm sorry. It's 1d10 plus 7 years.
It was a lot.
Wait, did you lose 17 years?
I think it was. And
Right,
then
because I told you. I'm sorry. I told you that if you rolled the max, if you rolled the 10, that I think it was your Constitution would be bumped up 1, and you rolled it. Oh my gosh! So I'm sorry. You are 17 years younger than you were. Woo.
Yep. So yeah. So I was nearly 200. I think it was something like I think the age I gave them at the gate was like 182 or something like that.
Let me check your passport.
Yeah, but then again,
Honestly, if you had led with the fact that your character was like an 80-year-old lady, Talia would have never let you pick up a sharp stick.
well, I was.
The age I have is 100.
What'd you say?
120.
I said bigger than that because it's something like halflings live well into their, what is it, 2nd century?
Yeah.
So what? So I would have been 180s.
So the backstory you gave me says
I might have messed that up. I can't do math. My own age.
I feel you.
yeah, Vera is now about 120 years old. You may have meant to write 220.
Yeah, I think I did.
Okay.
What did I say? Yeah, Vera's a little sketchy too because I don't know my exact age.
It just dawned on me how long you've been running a criminal empire in Onish.
I know. People know who I am, or at least they know what's up.
Well,
Yeah.
you and Gideon got married at the age of 20, at which point you had already started on that, that rise. So, whew.
200 years ish.
That's a long time. Wow.
Well,
Yep.
I mean, it did take you guys a long time to oust the already established ones, but still, yeah. So do we want to call it 220 minus 17?
Right.
Okay.
Josh, I have one more quick question about my inventory.
Of course.
The potion with green mist and tiny skulls, and the potions with swirling red and yellow mist, those are both just straight up alcohol, aren't they? Aren't those just like scotch?
They're the good stuff.
Yeah.
You're taking me all the way back to when we to the tower. That was months ago.
I know.
Right. Potion with swirling red and yellow mist.
Yeah, we had
no.
two of those. Those are fire resistant?
I'm sorry, so that one is a potion of fire.
Okay.
Green mist and tiny skulls is poison resistance.
Oh, I thought those were the alcohol ones. Those were like the ones that were fake and were
No, so what's super cool about Fantasy Grounds is I can program in an item and then click ID, which basically means it's unidentified, and I set its name and its unidentified name.
Okay.
So for the potions, as the unidentified name, I put the description.
Okay.
And then as soon as I unclick ID, then it becomes identified and you can actually, its real name displays.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of potions right now that can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, guys, we have 3 superior healing potions. Like,
man, can I get in on one of those, please?
Yeah.
Potion.
Yeah, we have a lot of potions, y'all.
You also have a wand of web that you haven't used ever.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a cat.
Liliana used it.
You guys have some weird stuff in your inventory.
We do. I look at it every Friday and go, what am I going to do with that? We have an entire thing of alchemist supplies, brewer supplies, glass blower supplies, jeweler supplies, and tinker's tools.
Are we distributing some potions here?
Can I get health potions real fast?
Yes.
You want one of the superior healing ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you have one of the potions of superior healing.
Quick inventory check here.
Yeah.
Yours. Thank you. How do you see Jeeves in?
I have Jeeves. So
I had to create Jeeves. I had to create Jeeves as a character that Mary now owns. So Jeeves is a character, but the only stuff we have in there is an inventory.
Since Almanya carries the bag, I'm the one who needs to have it.
In case. you haven't been with us since like 15 episodes ago.
I'm really hoping that as we're walking through the city, my gloves of the beast will just start glowing green because there's a bear somewhere 50 feet away from me.
They do not.
Rats.
Anyway,
Right, are we giving potions? Are we giving potions of healing to anybody else, or are we done with inventory?
sorry. One last inventory question. So sorry.
No, you're
Do you have those awesome night vision goggles? Because I don't see them in my inventory. But
I I
Yeah,
don't
they're-
have.
You. Oh, weird. I think that's probably because it's in the.
It's not in Jeeves. I don't. It's not in the bag of holding.
yeah, I think I've been wearing them, but they never showed up in my inventory.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've been considering you wearing them, but hold on. Where's the? How do I do the party stash?
It's the people up there above the dice color changing thing, Josh.
Yeah,
That's like a group of
there's
people
no-
with the eye.
There's no parcel there.
Oh,
And yeah, I don't see it. All right, I'll get it programmed in.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Okay, so in Jeeves, I have 3 potions of fire giant strength, 1 potion of freedom of movement, 1 potion of gaseous form, 2 potions of invisibility, 2 superior healing, 1 thunder resistance, 1 poison resistance, and 2 fire resistance. And then I have tinker's tools, jeweler's tools, glassblower's tools, brewer's tools, alchemist tools, the wand of web, and my flail snail shells.
Can I ask?
So as a reminder, it is an action to retrieve something from the bag. So any Pokemon be able to just battle, now's the time to pull them out.
Yeah.
Can I have some of them tinker's tools?
You want the tinker's tools? Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Kira has the
I'll
Tinker's
take-
tools
I'll take one of the superior healing potions for myself.
into your actual inventory. Okay.
Yeah. And one of the fire giant strength ones as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Sorry, if we're adding more. But may I have 1 fire giant and 1 invisibility? Is that okay
Yeah.
with everybody?
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Okay,
Because I
you got it.
and if I'm like stuck somewhere and I need to kick something down, that's gonna be awesome.
Do you also want the freedom of movement one?
What does that do?
I love that you're doing this now that you're in like the middle of the safest place you have ever been in your life.
Yeah.
I know.
It's true.
Forget a full-fledged battle with thousands of ghouls. Forget going deep into the earth to rescue people. Forget a journey across the wilderness. We're going to the Colosseum. We're doing this now.
We need a breather.
So what does the
all right.
freedom of movement do?
What is the what image you can do?
Freedom of movement.
So you're not affected by difficult terrain, and spells or magical effects can't reduce your speed, paralyze, or restrain you. And you can spend 5 feet of movement to automatically escape from non-magical restraints like manacles or a creature that's grappling you. And being underwater doesn't impose any penalty on movement or attacks.
Unless somebody else wants it.
Okay. I mean, I don't need it. It might just be good to kind of have on hand, but I didn't know if you as a rogue wanted it like on you.
Figure it just strategically speaking, like if we're all captured or something, because you can't be restrained if you have that.
Yeah.
Like I could get out and then unlock everybody.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Daphne's standing here twirling the flowers in her hair while they talk about being restrained and captured by people going stupid. People
Right? This is so boring. Like, we were going to go someplace, and now we're just standing here counting things out of the magical bag.
Hey, Gooth, do you want a potion of fire giant strength to make you super strong at least 1 point?
I mean,
This came back from the search.
Yeah, I'll give him one. Sorry, my phone thought that I was talking to it when I said Gooth. It thought I said Google.
It's okay. My phone, when I say seriously, Siri comes on and is like, what did you need?
if Guth wants a fire giant strength, I think we should just give it to him. Honestly,
I mean, why
Sorry,
wouldn't you?
side note. Do I know if doping is allowed in the arena?
You know what? Roll a straight intelligence check.
That was a
I'm
bit
not
worried.
expecting us to fight right now. It was more for like the future.
Oh yeah,
Also,
but we know Goose, right?
Yes. Maybe I should take it back then.
10.
You have not heard anything about it being banned.
Okay.
As far as you know, you fight with what you take in with you.
I'll take back the fire giant strength.
You can't just give it to me and then take it back immediately.
Good.
No reason given.
I mean,
Dude.
come on, he only has 4 things.
Okay, Guth, how about this? Just save it for a very, 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 very important and extremely dangerous fight. These things are really hard to come by. This is rare. All right? We good?
I mean, sure, I don't think I would really need it unless things were really, really bad. So
Good. I got you.
why you feel like you've got to explain this to me like this.
I also
I like to keep all my dice in my sleeves. I like to know what's going on. Okay, does anybody else need anything?
no, this is awesome. I didn't realize we had so many goodies.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a few goodies. All right.
All right, let's chat with some Jaegers who have better goodies than us.
Tis true.
All right. So where are you guys? Where are you heading off to?
Myth of Honor Guild Hall.
Yeah, I will lead
Okay.
the way.
Okay. And you guys, we'll do this, and then we'll go ahead and end. So you guys head off to the Myth of Honor. The Myth of Honor is in kind of the highest class district of the city. And Daphne leads you through the streets, and going through the streets, you can see droves of people moving through the streets towards some other part of the city. I'm sure Daphne can explain. They're all headed to the Colosseum for the first day of the Makatan. Lots of people going through the streets. You come to the Myth of Honor. And so imagine kind of a Greek-Roman style temple, right? Massive pillars, but the pediment is inverted, right? So instead of kind of coming up to a point, it's coming down to a point that stops kind of over the large wooden doors. And this pediment depicts a scene of battle. There's a number of kind of humanoid figures. Most of them, their faces are kind of replaced by this like burst of light. And they are fighting against creatures that are kind of rising out of kind of the apex of the pediment, kind of up to the corners, and these figures are moving down against them. And these creatures that are kind of coming up have these bat-like faces, long teeth, claws, too many limbs. And these figures with kind of the sunbursts replacing their faces. I already said that. And it's painted, right? Because Greek and Roman temples and statuary was not actually just kind of pale stone. They were all painted, and this civilization is not dead. So
It's true.
they're painted, and kind of the colors are muted, but beautifully done. There's this female figure kind of plunging a spear into one of them, pinning it to the side of the pediment. Another kind of thin, gaunt figure, all features entirely obscured by hooded armor, just seems to be like ripping the life out of several others. A humanoid wolf, this one, no sunburst. You can see just full lupine features, wearing just this heavy plate, rips another one to pieces. And this final figure is hurling lightning and fire into groups of others and just shattering them. And the kind of the columns that support this pediment are carved with very similar scenes. These ones are of smaller and stylized figures. They all look fairly similar to each other, not personal like these large ones. And they're all accomplishing similar feats in kind of these small triptychs, right? These small 3-panel stories. Many of kind of these smaller ones are old and almost worn away. Others look somewhat new, maybe a few decades old, and others are blank, either waiting to be filled or so old that all features have been worn away completely. And running around the edge of the pediment is an inscription that Daphne can translate for you, that says, remember the sacrifice of the fallen, be worthy of that which is given, that the light may never fade from your eyes until in strength they return and in honor you may receive them. And standing outside of this building, right, you arrive just in time to see a group of presumably Jaegers rushing out the front door, like strapping armor on, belting weapons to their belts, and kind of booking it off in the direction of the Colosseum. And that is where we will pick up next week. So thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Somewhere around here is my script, but hopefully, see how much of this I actually remember. Join us on Mondays. No, I need to find the script. I don't remember anything. There we go.
It's been a long week, y'all.
It has. It really has.
We hope to see you again next Friday as it gets even worse. But in the meantime, join Becca and her crew on Mondays as they play Heroes on the Edge of Desolation. I'm sorry, play 13th Age in Heroes of Desolation. We also invite you to follow and subscribe to our Twitch and YouTube. Visit our website, iconicproduction.wordpress.com, where you can follow us on social media. Discover our lineup of podcasts, including other live, real, actual play shows like this one, or support us on Patreon. I did it. Thank you for your support. Until next week, we hope that you are happy, healthy, and safe.